The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, years after zero. And today we have a couple brand new guests. Yeah, thanks to Twine for that beat drop. Talk Table's here, Tone Diggs is here, and all the boys are in the back. And we can't thank you enough for listening or watching wherever the hell you may be, whether it's via SiriusXM or at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. We have some cool announcements about some things that are going on for tonight's Thursday night game with our friends at FanDuel, but we need to make something clear right now. AJ Hawk is currently hacking the shit out of Whistling Straits up there in Wisconsin, representing the United States of America alongside Rob Riggle. If you are at that tournament right now, whether you're listening or watching or whatever you may be doing, we need videos of AJ Hawk decimating that course through his 9 holes today, and I believe he has to play again tomorrow, gets to play tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure if this is his only time out there. We've gotten videos already sent into us. He's hitting some big drives. He's swinging really hard. I synced him put 2 balls OB already, and those are the only 2 videos we have been sent. If he hits a good shot, please send those to us as well. But we are incredibly proud of our big chin, big nose, hard-headed, Super Bowl champion friend who's representing the United States of America front and center at the Ryder Cup. We're with you, AJ.
Good luck, AJ.
Hey, not just for yourself and for this show, but for the United States of goddamn America.
Hell yeah.
Be a good thing to get a win right now, you know. And I understand that Brooksy and Bryson are on the driving range. Hey, how's it going? Hey, good to see you.
We're friends.
Hey, we're friends. Phil Mickelson's posing in 40 mile an hour winds right behind DeChambeau bombing a ball. And I know our guys Anders, Shoffley's out there, and Spieth's out there, and there's a lot of good. But it all starts with AJ. He was the first person to tee off this morning. Yeah. This dude started the Ryder Cup today, okay? So what we need is a big-time win from AJ and Rob Riggle, and hopefully some great stories out of there. And this is after he put 1 OB already. The beginning of this video, bang, OB.
Oh, no.
I don't know who this came from because I believe we're just pulling this directly off of their Twitter, so we would have to bounce out a little bit. I mean, he's just lifting his head, blading the ball.
Come on,
I mean,
focus.
For America.
For the United States.
Get it together, guy.
Yeah, and normally it feels like he only represents the Hawk House.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I think every word that he says is just representing the Hawk House. Today, every hack he's taken into Whistling Straits, every single swing he's taken, every time he's falling out of the tee box while hitting his driver, he's representing the United States of America. And he told me last night that he's been doing a lot of visualization of the course. He was doing some meditating. He was watching film. He said he was doing all these things because he didn't want to disrespect the United States of America. From the shots that I've seen from people that have been just recording him with their phones that have been there and have been very nice to send these to us, he has not been representing the United States that well. This is from Nick Schleck. Hey, shout out Nick Schleck.
Thank you, Schlecky.
But here's the only. Hey, your next shot's your best shot, AJ. We're on your side. Ryder Cup does tee off today, and let's go.
Here we go, boys.
Wait. Hey, let's fucking go, huh?
Here we go.
Here we go. Now, I will not watch it probably because there'll be football on tonight, and I'm kind of distracted by potentially, in the weekend we got big college football.
Oh yeah,
they got big SmackDown tomorrow night, and then the NFL. But if it's an opportunity to yell for America, I'll do it. And I think the Ryder Cup is normally a good time to do that. So I'll kind of piece through this entire thing. Diggs, in the gambling world, are the Americans the favorite?
Oh, yeah. 210. Minus 210.
I mean, is it because we're in America? Because I saw the goddamn Euros came out with the cheeseheads on over there in Wisconsin trying to play babyface. Nah. We appreciate you as humans. We like what you're able to do. But right now, it is us versus you. And I even think the golf community, who is normally a, hey, everybody's cool, everybody's nice community, I think they even get involved in this. So let's go America, minus 210. What does it start with? Because I know it's like 3 different games, right?
So it starts tomorrow morning.
Oh, shit. I thought it started today. So AJ did not tee it off.
And it starts with foursomes where it's alternate shot, you and your partner versus the other teams. alternate shot, them and their partner. That's the morning round. And then the afternoon round, it goes foursomes where all 4 players play their ball. Lowest score wins the hole. And then on Sunday, every player one-on-one versus someone from the other team. Let's go.
And whenever you say like alternate shot and then play your own ball and then do that, are they walking this entire thing?
Oh, yeah.
So they're going 36 holes competition.
Well, it depends because some guys, well, obviously the captain picks who goes. So some guys will go morning and afternoon. Like Tiger always went morning and afternoon. Of
course, yeah,
Some guys will only play alternate shot in the morning. Some guys will only play the 4-ball in the afternoon. And then the one-on-one on Sunday, it always comes down to that.
And I'm all about a good drama and controversy, okay? And there's a lot of points to be scored in the one-on-one, by the way. That's why it's like daily double, you know what I mean? Like that's when you need to really get going there. And I'm all about a good controversy, but I don't think this is the time I'd like to see Bryson and Brooks with each other. Now, it seems like they maybe have gotten past this. I think they chatted with each other, but let's just make sure, let's just win this thing. And then maybe at the next tournament, be like, hey, remember you guys won together, and then put them in the same grouping or whatever. I don't know if now's the time to figure out whether or not Brooks and Bryson are friends. It seems like hey, look, here's an olive branch. They didn't shake each other's hands. They did look at each other. Yeah. There was a nice little pop from the crowd when he walked away. Bryson even says, like, hey, how about that, huh? We're getting somewhere for America. Here we go. But I think Phil Mickelson and the boys know, like, hey, we need to now's not the time to test this thing.
Yeah, put your shorts down, put your clubs up, whatever you want to say about it. But don't you think that there's some part of you that, if Brooks and Bryson are together, they'll be so competitive and want to beat each other that they'll both play their best
alternating
golf?
Shot, maybe.
Exactly.
Put them in there as alternating shot.
Yeah,
maybe that is complete. Take back everything I said about not putting them together. Put them in alternate shot situation, because then literally at the end of that thing, they don't want to be the one that's
correct.
Hey, I don't want to be the one that Bryson and Brooks' alternating shot has to happen.
Yeah, because the other person's not going to want to add fuel to the other fire.
Bingo. All you're doing is just feeding the flame. Hey, I played my best. You're going to have to ask my partner.
Talk to the other guy.
Hey, you're going to have to ask my partner. And that is worse than any shit talk you can say. That, hey, you have to ask my partner is worse than anything that Bryson or Brooks. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
Let's put Bryson and Brooks right next to each other, alternating shot.
Even 4-ball, because normally in 4-ball, when you're playing your own ball, you only want to beat the 2 guys on the other team. You put them together there, they want to beat each other and the other 2 guys.
Yeah, I'm with it, but the alternating shot thing, just being able to blame the other person.
Yeah. Immediately, too, after the hole.
Boom,
like,
you know what happened.
Hey, nice second shot. Okay, we would have had a fucking birdie if you would have hit in the fairway there. Let's go.
Oh.
Putters, too. They'll both be locked in with their putter because they're not going to be the one.
Did we just win the Ryder Cup?
Yeah. Wow.
Something to think about,
Good
Phil.
match, Euros.
Maybe start that thing. Maybe have them lead off,
I think
too.
you do. I think you have to. You set the tone immediately.
Hey, we got our 2 big golf ball meathead whacker guys who do hate each other.
Yep.
They're playing together alternate shot. And the Euros are going to look at that and go, what do they think? Oh, my God,
shit.
they're going to.
They're not even competing against us.
God. Oh no, they don't even know we're here. This is them playing one round base, and it's a little bit of. I bet you the golf community will like it, because at some point they'll have to.
Yeah.
Hey, at some point
a little embrace, maybe.
Okay.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Go get it, Phil.
Bro, would there be anything cooler than that? Like, because if they lose, they lost for America. Like the amount of shit talk that you can do is. I feel like I had a pretty good game, I feel like I hit a couple good balls, obviously missed some shots, but you're going to have to talk to my partner on why we lost for America. That is a dagger in there. Whatever the case, AJ Hawk is a glue guy. He is on the grounds. So let's assume that he's bringing that team together naturally. Yeah. I wonder how many little yuppie events AJ has already been to over there.
50. Quite a few.
Bro, he had some fresh Jordans on this morning.
Yeah,
Did you see
he
that?
got geared up.
Team USA, little sweater and jacket and polo. Team USA hat. This guy's in the fucking Olympics, dude.
Yeah.
AJ Hawk is in the goddamn Olympics somehow.
And not to mention, I'm sure he got a very nice windbreaker. Probably the same get-up Phil had on right next to the water there. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a new pair of bats, some new clubs for the occasion. I mean, this guy just, walking right back into this and being able to represent Team USA, and then he goes out there and he lays an egg.
No, we don't know that. That's only what we have seen. We have not, and this is not us picking and choosing the videos that we decide to show.
No.
All we have seen is him hit terrible shots.
Yeah.
That is all I'm saying.
Do we know if Riggle can play the game or what?
I'm not sure there's much hope for Riggle's game either. I don't know. It didn't sound like it from the scouting reports that I read. Like Riggle's not a scratch, I don't believe. But when AJ came out, big pop from the Wisconsinites.
Huge.
Big pop. Who's there, by the way? These people are there because they want to have this front row all day, and then they'll probably stay there even into tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Because some of these spots, you ever been to a golf tournament, you can't get to any of these good spots unless you're there at like literally 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah.
because people just kind of park there. They just kind of like even nap and sleep there, and then they're just waiting for that one big moment to happen. Like, everybody knows, like down at TPC, Sawgrass, there's obviously the island hole. And then out in Arizona, there's like that entire party area. And then the one we went to at the Oakmont, or at Oakmont, there was this one green that I guess was a par 5 that was very gettable. So they had like bleachers all around it, and it was late and around. It's like, it just feels like there's certain spots in the course you want to be. There's some other places that you watch golf tournament, it is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not good at all.
No.
But it seems like everybody kind of gathers in the areas, and then there's a lot of walking by the fans.
I think with this too, it's not like Augusta. Like I'm pretty sure they do let the fans kind of just have their way and
US
enjoy
Never
it. Yeah,
perform,
exactly.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little noise here.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
And AJ, he brought the noise early.
He did.
Big time.
I saw some good divots.
Oh yeah.
He sent me a picture that I guess Rob Riggle had to have taken from their practice round yesterday. His divot flying through the air. He was pointing his club at the place where it's supposed to go.
Whoa.
Is that Jordan Spieth?
My God.
And then I zoomed in on the picture a little bit, and I saw his jaw outside of his neck.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's AJ.
Right.
Yeah, that's AJ. I couldn't, the divot was flying through the air. I did not know if that was AJ Hawk because I didn't know he had it like that. But, I mean, he's playing golf out there for America.
Yeah. More of that, less of topping it in the water.
Well,
you
I
know?
mean, that's going to happen, I guess, whenever you don't play ever, and then you're thrusted into representing the United States of America somehow. But look at him walking through. Thumbs up. Look
That's
at him.
a good
Pumped.
fit.
Tight blue fit. He works
Great
out
fit.
every morning for a moment like this
Yeah.
being sprung on him.
In the rough, though, isn't that not a little bit of a worry? Like, let's walk in the fairway. Why are we walking right next to the sand trap every single hole?
We know why he's walking there.
Riggle?
Yeah, their ball is nowhere near the
Yeah.
fairway.
No chance.
Close
What
to
are,
OB.
what are you even talking about? I've yet to see them hit a ball off the fairway, too, by the way. Every video that we have gotten has been from the rough.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the Riggle Hawk squad has one fairway
Oh.
In
in
regulation.
regulation.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they do.
No.
But you get them on the green,
Oh, baby.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Riggle Hawk squad.
Yeah.
can pop.
Reading the undulation.
After 3 holes, they were halved, by the way. So whoever
Okay.
they're playing against is probably
pretty good.
Probably really good golfers. That's
Yeah.
'cause to keep up
Malfoy.
with. Yeah, absolutely. Who's that? Harry Potter.
Yeah. Malfoy's playing against Hawk and Riggle today. It's not looking good for them.
So Harry Potter's playing against AJ Hawk right now.
Harry Potter's arch nemesis, yes.
Yeah.
So it's not Harry Potter.
No, he's in Harry Potter.
Because Harry Potter is also like a bazillionaire who.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, that guy. In what's the Magic movie with?
Now you see
Oh,
me.
now you see me.
Now
yeah.
you see me. He's the billionaire.
Yeah.
That's him, right?
Yeah.
Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
Yeah.
That's Harry. This is not who he's playing against.
No, he's playing
Why you
against-
guys keep saying Harry Potter for this fucking guy? Literally, you guys. As soon as you said the name yesterday, you're like Harry Potter, Harry Potter. I'm like, oh, that's the billionaire from that Magic movie. He's some bum from Harry Potter. He's playing
Oh,
against.
I wouldn't call him a bum.
Oh, so he's got a D-list Harry Potter.
No,
fucking-
no. Tom Felton. I mean, he's one of the faces of Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
he's the
That's
heel
why.
in Harry Potter.
Yeah, he's the heel.
I'm sure he's great.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did he win an MVP?
No, I don't think he's won an MVP
There he
just yet. Yeah, you know Malfoy.
I don't know who he
He's
is.
in
but
Planet of the Apes, actually.
I can tell by his face though that this kid is somebody I would fuck with. You know what I mean? I can tell just by that's who's playing against AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
If
Oh, yeah.
AJ Hawk loses to this demented child,
He's slightly older now.
Yeah, that was about 25 years ago. But still, same guy.
all right, the adult version of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's good in the movie. You're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Honestly, it kind
magnificent.
of probably looks like AJ as a child.
You got to remember, AJ as a child, that nose was already busted from helmets. You know
right.
what I mean? From helmets. That thing. And by the way, that's why AJ can't breathe probably out of his nose, strictly because his helmet, he would probably not wear it tight enough or whatever, and it would just bust his nose.
Yeah.
And you see him, and there's actually like scar tissue built up on it. That middle one?
Yeah, there he is. That's actually not a great scene from him. He had a lot of powder on his face during this movie.
Cocaine.
Oh, no, not cocaine. Just legitimate makeup powder.
Oh, really? They wanted to white him out?
Yeah, exactly.
They need you to be like Seamus White.
Yeah, they're dark times.
Not a lot of sun at Hogwarts.
No.
Why not?
Voldemort.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's a lord.
He's the bad guy.
We can't do it.
You know Voldemort, dude.
We cannot do a full Harry Potter breakdown right now.
All right.
That's 7 books, 8 movies. Yeah, we don't got enough time here to
Unbelievable.
really dive into it.
I have seen none of them, and I have read 0 pages, and I'm pretty proud of that. But I do appreciate the fact that it seems like everybody likes this thing.
Oh, yeah. We'll save it for the offseason. We'll do the Voldemort breakdown then.
Maybe I'll watch just like I did with that other one, the Captain Planet, the
Avengers.
The Avengers.
Yeah.
But all you did was just watch the last one.
Yeah. And then I said, I don't know any of these backstories. I said, I'm going to live tweet this thing as we go.
Well, 6 months beforehand, you also predicted the whole movie.
That was the second one. So, I mean,
No big deal.
is this the most what is Harry Potter? The most basic writing of all time?
No,
Like this
you-
Captain Planet
no,
movie
no,
you guys
no.
watched?
Harry Potter.
J.K. Rowling is
Yeah.
a great writer.
First billionaire author. She knows how to craft a story.
All right.
I think you can figure it out.
I respect it. But what was it? The Avengers was when they all came together, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All the superpowers.
You
Yeah.
predicted the
Gems.
end game, which was the name of
The next
last
one.
movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I watched the one. That wasn't the one that I watched.
Infinity War.
I watched the Infinity War and I live tweeted. That was a great time.
Yeah.
I had a blast with it, and I could see why you guys would enjoy it, even though I had no clue what was going on with any of them. I think I knew Thor's name. Obviously, that was pretty easy because Nick dressed up as him a couple times. I seen him in there. Captain America. I had seen
Yeah. Hulk, Iron Man.
A couple of them are easy to figure out, like due to pop culture references, but their backstories I had no idea. So me tweeting that, at the beginning I was getting a lot of hate from the comic book people.
Oh, yeah.
And then by the end, I think they were like, here it is. I'm watching this Avengers Infinity War movie without ever having watched any of the superhero movies by themselves. I've been told this is an aggressive decision. Excited to see what the hype's about. I have no clue who this one metal dude is, but he just beat the hell out of the Hulk. I'd assume he's the big dog now. Which seems like that is an accurate
was real.
assessment of this whole thing. Metal guy just choke slammed the weasel long-haired fella. The handsome fella with the patch seems upset. Didn't expect those two to be on the same team. Got to be honest there.
Okay.
I did not expect those two. The weasel guy.
Thor and Loki.
Yes.
There it is.
Yep. Loki was his brother.
Loki, he's
half-brother.
a trickster.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you weren't talking about Rocket when he was referring to the
No,
weasel.
no,
I was talking about a guy. that looked
Metal
like-
guy is also Thanos, I believe, in this.
He did end up being Thanos, I
Yes.
believe, yeah. A guy with a glowing buzzsaw-looking thing on his back just showed up at Robert Downey Jr.'s date in the park. Big cock block from Cuzzy. That's real, because Robert Downey Jr. was ready to go.
Yeah.
And then old buddy showed up with that fucking buzzsaw thing. What is
Doctor
it?
Strange.
Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
It's the thing that he makes.
Time capsule thing.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end it's used.
Yes.
They do the whole thing. But anyways, that's what I did with that.
Are we?
good.
No. Why are we stopping? Let's keep going.
I mean, there's no way people... When was the last time people have seen this movie? Even you people that watch
Probably
it.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, people watch.
It's
these
on
things.
every week.
Every night.
So I continued, I guess. I guess we'll continue. This stinks for anybody. Did not expect to see a flip phone, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, and now Robert Downey Jr. That is real. That is real. He's like the richest guy on earth, right? This guy.
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he got a flip
Tech
phone.
genius.
I was really surprised
Burner.
by that. Metal guy from earlier jumped into the Arctic from Manhattan, then tried to jump back and lost his hand. Wild turn of events I never expected. Him losing his hand, pretty big deal there, right? Mm-hmm. Is that because that's when he adds
gauntlet.
the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Pratt just showed up singing "Let's Go." With the comedic relief. Batista.
Oh yeah, Batista.
Yeah, Don Batista.
He's taken off.
He
since then.
is.
A man with a forehead laser beam and the lady he's in love with in Scotland are now in the mix due to getting attacked out of nowhere while trying to catch a train. A whole new team has been added. No clue what's going on. Feels like a super-powered soap opera.
Yeah, of course.
Pretty good.
Well put.
A lot of drama there.
Yeah, Thanos' guys came down.
And by the way, I did pause the movie while he typed out these tweets. So it was like I was...
Yeah.
Wife was not thrilled, by the way. Wife had seen a lot of these things.
Oh, okay.
And I think she at least knew of them because, she had a childhood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she was not happy that I was pausing in the middle of some of these scenes. And she was like, who cares? I'm like, Gotta keep these people updated. Gotta keep these people. An actual place called Nowhere just put my mind in a blender.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty
Nowhere.
good. That was pretty good whenever they thought. I was like, I think that was when I was like, oh, these are good brains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are good brains putting this thing together. How has that never been thought of, actually? Oh, Nowhere, as in knowing things. Brilliant. I had to correct myself. And then I continue. I've never been this confused in my life. Metal Guy just got stabbed by Chris Pratt's girlfriend with a knife given to her by Metal Guy when she was a child. Then Chris Pratt tried to shoot his girlfriend in the face after Metal Guy came back to life. Bubbles came out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Thanos had the reality stone. He could change anything he wanted. He wasn't actually stabbed. It was a fake one.
Anyways, we can go on and on about that for 7 hours? That's how long that movie is?
Yeah.
That's the only movie I saw. I don't know when I did that entire breakdown. Can you put that back up? What month was it?
August.
So that was in August. So then the following February down at Super Bowl, I was doing Media Row or whatever, and Bleacher Report asked me like a bunch of random questions. Like it was like wings or thighs. Like that was like
this or that type
it was
deal.
like that type
Right.
of thing. And then one of the questions was, how will Avengers Endgame be, or what would the ending of Endgame be for Avengers or whatever? And I had to explain a little bit how I never watched it, but after watching Metal Guy that entire time lose his hand, you just got to take the guy's rocks, dude. Right?
Yeah.
You just take his rocks, he ain't shit.
Nope.
And that's literally what I said to them. And then turns out,
Just got to take his rocks.
got to take the guy's rocks.
Exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. There was people when Bleacher Report put that out the day that movie was released. Bleacher Report put that out as a bunch of people answered this question. They just threw me in the middle. By the way, it was just like in the middle. It wasn't like hey, one of the people did actually just nail the end of the movie. Everybody in the comments thought that I had a friend on the writing team. So I go from never watching any of these movies to, in some people's mind, I had a friend in the writing room and I was a spoiler or something like that.
The ultimate insider. McAfee ruined the movie.
Yeah. It was awesome. I never felt so good in my life. I was like, and then obviously Nick is a big comic book guy. And I go, Nick, your movies are so fucking basic that now I got all these people mad at me for just figuring it out after watching one flick. And then it turns out Endgame, good movie.
Great movie.
Good
Yeah,
movie.
good film.
It took you 10 tweets to figure out it's Thanos. I was going down further. This guy's definitely named Thanos. It was after you took a lunch break.
I'll tell you what it is. Yeah, I did have to eat in the middle of that. I was getting a little bit hungry. It was getting a little bit slow for me. I forget what happened, but
How long was the movie for you then? Because you had to stop every time, so that was probably like 4 or 5 hours.
3 days.
Yeah, it took out a pretty large portion of the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
I never expected us to get into this conversation today, and that's why this show is awesome, because we do have a massive thing popping off for tonight for Thursday Night Football.
Yes.
Last week, risk-free, same-game parlay with our friends at FanDuel.
Hell yeah.
Bunch of rules were given to me. Okay, it has to be 3 to 5 legs. It can't be more than plus 2,000. Has to be greater than plus 400. And also, this plus 400 can't be broken even after everybody bets on it. Last week, I heard we had a lot of people in there.
Nice.
It lost. Okay. But it was risk-free.
Yeah,
Risk-free.
risk-free.
And it was risk-free, so you get your money back. Tonight, I feel very good about the one that is currently live on FanDuel Sportsbook. Risk-free, same-game parlay. FanDuel, the home of the same-game parlay. I like the over. I like Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown in the first half. I like Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown in the second half. And I like the Carolina Panthers minus 7.5. That is plus 7 something. I think it's plus
Yeah, like
780
780.
or something
Yeah.
like that. So your $10 risk-free bet turns into $78 or so, and it's risk-free if you opt in. It's available at FanDuel right now in I think all states. It's a little slow rolling on the tech. You will have to opt in. $10 risk-free same-game parlay. The minds in the office, I think, like this one. It seemed to be a lot of positive.
Yeah.
Now, if the Panthers don't steamroll the Texans, this could be a little bit different. But Christian McCaffrey's going to get the rock. I think the Texans, with old David Sills, I think that team at the end of that game showed some promise.
They did.
True.
They got a great running back core. They might score some points. That's why I like the over. Ultimately, in the end, though, I think this is Sam Darnold and Carolina Panthers that has a great defense flying around right now with Christian McCaffrey. I think this is going to be a hello to the national world tonight. You heard about us the first 2 weeks, obviously beating the Jets and everything like that, but I think that tonight people are going to say that team that we talked about last year with the Carolina Panthers, Matt Rule was a good hire. This team could be good. And they didn't have that good of a record this year. It seems to be a little bit different. And I'm not saying I'm taking the Carolina Panthers over everybody. I just think with no Tyrod Taylor, that's going to change some things, although I think Coach David is going to have the boys going down there. Houston is not a fun place to play on Thursday nights. I did it a lot in my career. Now, I did kick an onside kick to myself and some other things down there in those Thursday night games, but that place will be loud. Texans fans are awesome. I don't know how they're going to be, I guess, in the state of the Texans right now, but that place should be electrifying. I just think it won't be too big for Darnold, McCaffrey, Matt Rule, that defense, and the boys of Carolina. Oh, no.
Jesus.
The Texans have been covered. The Texans have been covered.
2-0. So have the Panthers, though.
Yeah, bingo.
I think the Panthers' defense is very, very good, too.
They haven't given up a point in the first half. They are ranked 1 in the league as far as yards per play.
Well, it did scare me when I put the over, strictly because as I was hitting it, I actually thought to myself, oh, isn't the Panthers' defense actually pretty good? We don't know anything.
It's Thursday night.
Thursday night.
45-0.
6-0 primetime games have gone over.
Bingo. And I also remembered that stat because Gumpy looked at me and said, pal, primetime games, we bet the over until we're told anything different.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's what we'll do. 43 is not that high.
No, it's not.
Especially if I got McCaffrey scoring the touchdown in the first half and in the second half.
Yes.
That's all right, 14 points right there.
That's right.
Quick math tells you. Darn will be able to get loose with Robbie Anderson. I wanted to add one of those in there too. But again, 4 legs plus 7 something, risk-free.
Yeah.
Same game parlay from your friends at FanDuel. It's available now. Just opt in. Let's go ahead and take all their money this week.
Hell yeah.
Okay, because although it's risk-free for us, we're going to get our money back. If we win, guess who doesn't get that money back? Fucking FanDuel.
Yes.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes with Todd Haley.
Okay.
Yeah, Todd Haley on today's show. Tristan Wirfs on today's show. Can't wait to chat with him and Ian Rapoport. And obviously, we're going to take phone calls, 1-833-4-McAfee on the 5-Hour Energy phone line. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Todd Haley joins us in 4 minutes. I have no idea how this is going to go. I am very excited for it, though. We'll see you then. Whenever you're working on golf, do you still have the same routine that you had whenever you were younger now, or is it much different? And how often do you just go down there and just hit Phil Mickelson flop shots all day? But anytime you turn one sideways and you flatten it, you're like, oh, watch this. I'm going to do like Phil Mickelson does. And then you just go out there. Normally, you either blade it, hit it straight up in the air to the right, or you somehow get lucky and it goes, and everybody's like, "Oh my God,
incredible shot,
Phil Mickelson!" That's what that is kind of become. And I remember you hit the one over your head that one time. That was a mind blower from me. Is the short game something you've always just been good at, or are you good at it because that's all you work like so much on it at all times?
When I was a kid, my dad had a little chipping area in our backyard and putting green, and so I would just go out there and hit balls because I couldn't really go to the golf course, and all I did was shots inside 30 yards. And it got very monotonous to hit the same shot over and over, so I'd go behind the avocado tree. I'd go back around the other trees and bushes and rough and so forth. And so I would get creative as a kid hitting those shots. And you kind of learn a couple of things. But what I would say, Pat, is that there's really only one way to chip effectively, because you're coming in with no coverage on the ball. You're coming in with so much loft that the leading edge is coming in first. So you have to have your weight forward. That's it. You have to have your weight forward and drive the club down into the ground. And most people, when they do that, their hands either come back or their weight comes back and the leading edge comes up and blades it. Now, you can kind of flip your hands a little bit if you have a good lie. Like if the ball's sitting in the first cut or it's sitting up, but that technique will not work all the time. And so that's why I prefer and believe that the technique where you have your weight forward, your hands forward, and you drive the club down to the ground will be consistent every time. So lay that club flat, move that ball off your left toe, get that ball off your front left, there you go, and open that face flat and just drive the club down into the ground. The ball will pop up like a gem.
I think I'm a scratch golfer. Let's go! I think it makes sense, by the way, that your childhood was spent within 30 yards of a green. My childhood was spent kicking a soccer ball off the side of a house. Worked out for me. It's worked out for you much better.
Should we just make it real? Should we just say, hey, we're done, we're riding off into the sunset? I mean, do you want it to be live on your show that Vinny's officially done? Is that what you want?
I don't want that, but if it's going to happen, happy it's happening.
Yeah.
I would like that to be known. So don't feel obligated. Don't feel forced.
Put it this way. Hey, let me see. Today is Wednesday. By Friday, if paperwork goes in, you heard it here first.
First of all, congratulations on a legendary fucking career, dude. In a game that revolves around the score, okay? That's how they pick winners and losers, is in a game in which they keep score. To be the all-time leading scorer in scoring sport, I think many would say, hell of a fucking job. Yeah! Unbelievable. South Dakota kid, you didn't have an easy way either. You went over to Virginia to train. You're a high school teacher, I think, or a substitute teacher. Then you go to the World League over in Amsterdam. Somehow survived the off-the-field activities that you could have fallen into. Stayed focused on kicking. Go into New England. Beat out Matt Barr at some point, even though he had an incredible career. Win Super Bowls. Memorable moments. Biggest moments in the sports history revolve around your foot in a lot of cases. Congratulations, man. You're the fucking best. I was honored to be your teammate. Yeah.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat.
Welcome back to that show. 12:32 here on Eastern Daylight Time.
Ooh.
I don't know when we'll fall back with the clock thing.
November.
And then become Eastern Standard Time, but we are currently Eastern Daylight Time, I believe.
That's right.
Although it is fall, and I think there was some sort of equinox or whatever the fuck that means
Solstice.
yesterday.
It's getting dark a little earlier.
It is.
Yeah.
Indiana is normally sunny until about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night in the summer. That is no joke.
Incredible.
You can tee off at 7:30 at night and get 18 holes in Indiana. I mean, it is an incredible thing. But it's starting to rain, starting to get dark. Let's continue to enjoy life, though. That means one thing and one thing alone. It's football season.
Hell yeah.
Football.
Football.
A guy who coached in the NFL and was a part of the NFL for over 20 years. Head coach of the Chiefs, offense coordinator at the Steelers, the Browns, also the Cardinals, I believe. An icon of a human. There has been many things said about this guy, including when he and Hugh almost got into a fight in his staff meeting at Hard Knocks. Very honored to be joined by Coach Todd Haley.
Yeah, Coach Todd!
How are you, man?
Hey, I've been looking forward to this for a long time, Pat. Fellow Western PA'er. Grew up going to Kennywood. You could probably walk there from Plum. I really enjoy your show, so I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Coach, is there anything like that potato patch? Are you kidding me with those fries, Coach? I don't know how they make it. It's the most delicious thing on earth, and it's an honor to have you, Coach. And that thing I ended with there, with you and Hugh Jackson in Hard Knocks, I think for a lot of people, it was like we knew Todd Haley, obviously from Pittsburgh. I'd known of Todd Haley, and you've heard stories and a lot of success and everything like that. But watching you in Hard Knocks was fantastic. Is that what it was like everywhere you were at? Is that what a normal coaching thing is? That how that goes, or was that just a couple conflicting of interests there?
I was raised by Bill Parcells. I coached for him for 8 years. I've always said that's like dog years, 1 = 7. So really, I coach for him for whatever that math is.
56. Yeah.
But number one, I was the anti-Hard Knocks guy. I did not think that was the time and place for us to have to deal with that, a team trying to turn it around. Number two, I did not know that camera was in the room. It was like a remote drone up in the corner, and I didn't even know it was there. But yeah, I mean, that's what Parcells taught us, to speak what we thought, to stand for what we believed in. And, we went into that meeting and I'm hearing a bunch of things that didn't sound like things should sound in a football meeting right before a training camp.
Yeah, well, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was awesome. There was a lot of things a part of that Hard Knocks, and Hard Knocks is now going in season with the Colts, and I had to...
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Coach, I don't know. Hey, listen, I don't know what the team's going to be then. As long as 2 sprains, Carson Wentz continues to play as reckless as he is, I don't know what the team's going to be like there. Hopefully we'll be in a good spot. That is just added. It's hard to win in the NFL, isn't it? In the Hard Knocks, you were anti it. Is that how most of the coaches felt? I assume most people, most coaches, most people in the football side of things don't love an added distraction potentially into when you're trying to win football games.
Yeah, most good coaches do not want it because you know how important. Well, I don't know, for a kicker, you were probably sleeping in the equipment room most of the meetings, but
true.
Most good football coaches, I don't think need that added distraction. I mean, it's hard enough. I mean, it's a big job to get a team ready to play.
Well, I can't thank you enough for joining us and giving us entertainment on Hard Knocks, even though it sounds like they definitely forced you into that thing. So I want to talk about your coaching career in the NFL, though, because, a lot of massive we looked up the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive stats and ranks when you were there and then what it has become. And now who knows what's going on with Ben and the offense changing. But your offense, whenever you were in Pittsburgh, it was like a top 5 offense, I think, like 8 straight years or 7 straight years or something like that. And you were brought in to kind of protect Ben. With what you see from Ben Roethlisberger, first of all, did you have a great relationship with him, as the outcome would and the success would say that you did? And what do you think whenever you watch him now, and are you still in contact with him?
We had a good relationship. I mean, player-coach relationships are all a little different. It was a tenuous situation. I was coming in replacing a really good friend of his in Bruce Arians, but there was a definite job that had to be done, which was to have Ben evolve as a quarterback, become a little more of a pocket passer, protect himself, as you said, run the football. And I think we did all those things. I mean, his game, I still hear people say, well, Ben, he extends the play. That's not really happening. It's a rarity now with Ben. And what happened over those 6 years was Ben got the ball out fast. And he appreciated getting the ball out fast to playmakers that then made good plays. And he saved a lot of wear and tear. So, I think it was mission accomplished, to be able to go back to Pittsburgh where my dad played. I grew up a ball boy. I mean, it was awesome. So, I always root for the Steelers, not openly, because, as coaches, once you leave somewhere, you usually root for the teams they're playing. But because of my father's connection with the Steelers, I still, secretly root for the Steelers a little bit.
Well, I think a lot of Yinzers are going to be happy to hear that, obviously. And also the story about Ben is because the first impression of Ben was he extends the play. He's a backyard football guy. And then you almost took that as, I assume, like a job. Like, hey, I got to change this to keep this guy alive. So whenever people still say, oh, he's extending the play, he does a lot of this, I don't want to say you kind of take offense to that, but it's like we try to change that. We had to change that for him to still be around in this entire thing. Is it like he doesn't get enough respect in that aspect, that he is on rhythm and that he can break down in his reads and do it much quicker than he did originally, you think, or no?
Yeah, that was the job, Pat. I mean, like when I sat down with Mike, that was the job. Hey, Ben has to evolve and become more of a drop back guy because he cannot continue survive and continue playing the way, he is right now. And yeah, so I take a lot of pride in that. And I think Ben does too. He does. The ball comes out very quick. I mean, and I'm not talking little quick screens and that, but in normal drop back situations, he gets the ball out as fast as anyone. And to me right now with the Steelers, does he trust these guys in front of him? It's a whole new group, a new offensive line coach, a new center for the first time in how many years since he had Pouncey. I mean, those are all big items. And I think, what I'm seeing is Ben needs to trust those guys up front right now. And if he can, and I think the Bucs will be the big test here in a couple weeks, then they have a chance to play good football.
Coach, with the changing and the evolving of offenses, did you enjoy as the rules changed? And now that the game, and I know you're coaching high school football, which is legendary, by the way. That is, I'm sure you're having a fucking blast doing that. They just so relaxed. You got no pressure, just calling up plays, slicing and dicing, probably the most amateur defenses you have ever seen in your life, which is awesome.
It's one coverage.
It's one.
Pat, these high school coaches are crazy. Like, people thought I was crazy on the sideline, but now I'm the calm one that just sits back and these guys are crazy. I mean, they come from their job, they go out on the field. I mean, they're killing these kids, and I'm like, is this what people thought of me in the NFL? But it's been a lot of fun with the kids. Yeah, there's one coverage generally, but I'm still not a big spread guy. Last year I was the coordinator. This year I'm just helping. But last year I had wristbands on the quarterbacks. We were huddling every play. We had a good defense, so we were slowing the game down. So it was a totally different, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I could imagine. One coverage generally. Like you just talking to your quarterbacks who are 16 years old or whatever. Listen, if that guy's standing right there, you look right here, okay, and then you hit that guy right there. He will move, and then that had to be so much fun for you. But it is interesting because what you just said with the wristband and huddling up, the game is changing, though, especially like that college game for like the last 10 years almost, 15 years, has now made its way into the NFL. Do you think that's because the players, the rules, or do you think that there's now schemes offensively that really can take advantage of things in space? Because that's always like Orlovsky was saying, if your offensive coordinator isn't using every single blade of grass that they can with these new offenses, they're doing your team a disservice because the way the rules are. Is there still, you think, old school offense is still going to be able to fit in, or do you think this is going to continue to change and change and change as we go?
I always think it's cyclical. You see the certain teams that still get under center and run power and run real run plays. So much of it is the rules in college. I mean, you just don't have enough time. It's like high school. I go out there. I mean, I'm like, are we going to watch film with them? And they're like, no, we just go on the field again. I mean, there's no time. And the same thing's happening in college. There's just not enough time. So the spread really simplifies things, but it always pushes the NFL game because that's where the guys are developed. Like I said, I mean, I coached receivers for a long time. I love the receiver group. But all the good receivers that come out of college are outside receivers because they're always in 2x2 or 3x1. You don't have any slot receivers anymore that learn how to play, versus that different coverage. So the big timers in college are the outside receivers. So now they end up on an NFL team, and you're like, how do you ever, work them into being a slot type receiver? It's very hard. So it's a lot of things. I think it's the time college is allowed to spend with them. So they've simplified it as much as they possibly can. I mean, it's much easier to just hold up a sign or make a signal than it is to go through the process of making a wristband and having a call sheet.
Yeah, because honestly, it's one read, two reads. Every single offense is now like, hey, you read the edge. If the edge drops in, you go. If he stays, you pitch or give, or then you could throw. It's like three reads, but it's all pretty similar reads as opposed to having to figure out disguises and what route concept is better for that. It is a much simpler and faster game, though, right? Too. I mean, it's much, much faster now. Is that?
Oh, it's much faster. And you've seen the NFL go to that. I mean, everybody's gone to an up-tempo deal at times, but again, I don't think that in the NFL with how good the defenses are that you can live that way full time. I mean, you still have to get under center. You have to run, downhill, hard ball runs. I mean, it's just we've seen it happen too many times where guys come in and try to do it, and the athletes are too big, too strong. Those 270-pound outside edge rushers that can run 4 or 5. I mean, it's too hard. You just can't do it on a down in and down out basis.
It always seems like the run game, by the way, if you have it or you don't, it always shows up in the biggest spot. Right? It always shows up in the biggest game. It's like the old cliche. Everybody says you got to be able to run the ball and you got to be able to stop the run. And everybody says it, and then it's like, no, all these games are wide open. Everybody's throwing it. And then you watch these playoff games. You watch playoff Leonard Fournette last year, or even in the Super Bowl. It's like the team that's going to be able to run this thing and the team that's going to be able to stop the run is probably going to win in the end whenever real games matter. It always seems to come back to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unless you just have and even with Mahomes, we saw it last year. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, but without protection, without a run game, he kind of came back down to earth. So, I think that tells you better have guys up front that can protect. You better be able to run the football when the other team knows you are running it. That's the key. Because there are going to be those situations where you have to run it and you have to be successful. And And I think that's what separates ultimately, the really good teams and the average teams.
Whenever you talk about some situations, and you're talking about being able to run the ball when everybody knows you're going to be able to run, 4-minute offense is one of those times. And there is so many situations that happened. Last year it was with the Chargers. The Chargers had like 5-6 games won if they just handled situation football right. They would run out of bounds whenever the other team had no timeouts. At the end of the game, they give the ball back, and it would come through there. This year, I think the Cardinals had a little situation. Kyler Murray ran out of bounds with like 2 minutes and 30 seconds left without forcing the other team to take a timeout. I mean, there's like those types of situations. Do you think teams have to go through those to learn those? Do you think it's just because everybody talks about the Patriots, like, hey, they're the greatest situational football team of all time or whatever. They test it all. We went through it at the Colts. I assume everywhere you've gone through, is it just you have to go through it? What do you think it is about some teams never getting that right, it feels like?
You have to go through it. And that's why, I traveled around the NFL in a lot of different positions. And there were certain places where you knew we were doing things the right way, and there were places where you knew we weren't doing the things the right way. And again, having been groomed as a very young coach with Bill Parcells, as hard as it was, I mean, every single two-a-day in training camp, those situations were practiced. All right, it's 4th down, and there's less than 6 seconds. We're going to throw the ball out of bounds, all the way down the field and run out the clock. I mean, all those situations were practiced. That's what I carried along with me everywhere I was. But some people amazingly don't do it. And it's just, when you get in that critical situation. And by the way, Pat, and I'm saying this for my old special teams coach with the Chiefs, Steve Hoffman, you were kicking on the other sideline, and we did the first spinner onside kick against you in either 09 or 010, and they clipped the R5's heel. Or it would have been 100% success.
I do remember that. That was it was in Kansas City, right?
Yeah. No, it was in Indy.
No.
And we knew we had to steal a possession. Yes, we played you 09 and 10 at your place. And we knew we had to steal a possession from Peyton, like everybody says. And Steve Hoffman and Ryan Suckup, Mr. Irrelevant, came up to me in practice weeks earlier, and they said, we got this special kick. You want to see it? I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. And then they kept coming to me, and I said, all right, let me see it. So it was just on the side of the field, and Ryan kept kicking it. It kept spinning right 10 yards perfect. I'm like, all right, let's start working it. We'll use it for Indy, and it clipped the R5's heel. Off the ball.
Hey, that's a slow roller, man. That thing's going to take its time as it bends.
I'm sure you have that in your repertoire.
Oh yeah, we've all do it because you just like kick a ball on the ground when you're either trying to shag it or whatever, and you realize like, oh, if I kick it on this side, it's going to spin back to that way. It's like a banana towards it or whatever. But having the gut sack to call that, though, I mean, that is because that ball's going around your kickoff team, basically. It's like coming behind them almost in that thing. Yeah. Hey, that's bad coaching. You got to tell that.
Dallas got all the credit, but really, I know we tried to pull one off against you.
Well, if it means anything, better coaching gets that R5 the fuck out of the way. You know what I mean, Coach? You got to do that. No, I love
the special teams coach got yelled at significantly.
Last question I have for you. You're awesome. You were fucking awesome. Thank you for coming on. Last question I have for you.
You were great with the Mannings, too.
Oh, hey, did you watch that? That was late.
I love that. I love it.
Okay, because I feel like I'm learning more about football in that thing in 2 quarters than I felt like I didn't know shit after that first Monday Night Manning. I'm like, did I not know anything going in there? I feel like for you, that's probably how you watch games and stuff like that.
No, yeah, that is. It's like I'll be bumping my wife. I'm like, yeah, this is what we talk about. But to listen to announcers now after that, I don't want to do it. And you were awesome on there, but yeah, it's insight. It's real football, and it's just great to hear. I enjoy it. I won't watch the other ESPN again.
Hey, no offense, Steve Levy, Lewis, right? Different world. You got to do what you got to do over there. But you're right. I'm feeling the same way, though, because I feel like I'm a football nerd at heart, and I think that's why this whole thing works, because I was lucky to be a fan, then I was lucky to be in the league for a while, and I'm basically a white trash dude, so it's like I never really changed, so it's like I love the game and like learning more. I felt like I was doing, even watching him do it in person, obviously, whenever I was lucky enough to be his teammate, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, you know what I mean? And then listening the way he
did.
Yeah, I know. I had a couple plays, by the way. If I was going to come in, if you guys would have hurt Peyton and then hurt the backup, you know who was coming in? I don't know. That's probably why. Is that why you kept Peyton healthy in 09 and 10? Is that why? Because I was going to come in there and fucking do the thing. Last question here, Todd. please, from me. And then the boys have. Everybody's very pumped that you're on the show right now. I want to let you know.
Yeah.
AJ there?
AJ's golfing in the Ryder Cup, representing America.
Oh, yeah. He's really good at golf.
Have you played with him?
I played with him at Tahoe. He's like Monica Seles. Every time he hits you, you're like, ah!
We're seeing some clips. People are tweeting us videos of him tearing up Whistling Straits. I mean, just the worst golf shots I think that have ever happened on that golf course. He is currently doing them. Last question for me, though, Coach. You were in Cleveland, obviously, that Hard Knocks year. Baker Mayfield's rookie year. Now you're seeing what Baker and that Cleveland offense is becoming, and obviously I think there's a little bit more stability and everything's kind of happening now. And for a long time, I think a lot of coaches have said, you never coach in the NFL until you got fired from Cleveland. Like, I've actually heard that quote from a lot of people, and I assume that is like a coaching thing. But now that they're turning it around and Baker seems to be playing very good football and that offense is going, what did you see early from Baker that made you think, like, okay, this guy can be an NFL guy? Because there's a lot of stats that say, like, rookie quarterbacks are going to fizzle out. Like, there's a lot of that happens, high draft picks even, including number ones overall. What was it about Baker that made you think, like, okay, this guy could be a guy if we get this thing right around him?
well, he can really throw the football first and foremost. I mean, we went through that process with Josh Allen, him, Rosen, Lamar, everybody, but Baker can really throw the football. He's not the fastest, but his leadership, charisma, I don't know what you want. He just has that it factor. He's a really tough guy, but bottom line is he can throw the football. And I've said, I said to Baker right from the start, I mean, you're not going to be a guy that's going to survive learning how to play quarterback in the NFL, which it does take time for everybody, running around and taking a lot of hits. You have to evolve your game into a Drew Brees-like type player, really cerebral, deliver the football where it has to be. And what has really helped Baker, obviously, is having that those five guys up front in that running game. Because every quarterback, I say this all the time, needs something to allow them to survive. Josh Allen is a big 6'5" dude that can break away, run, do those things. That's how he survived and learned and started to turn himself into a real player. And Baker has had that run game. And Kevin has done a tremendous job, sticking with the run and allowing them to run the football. But that's really given Baker that little bit of space he needed to really start to learn how to play the position, because it generally does not happen overnight. There's not many Dan Marinos or, even Mahomes sat the whole year. So it's a process, and you need something that allows you to survive while you learn to be a real quarterback.
We're talking to Coach Todd Haley and a bird that is obviously incredibly furious.
We have a parrot sitting on the wall. Sorry, shut up, little bird.
Is that a real parrot? Parrots, that parrot could probably talk more shit than you and I both, from what I've learned.
We have more animals at this house. It's a shit show.
I got a zoo as well. Your wife's a big animal lover? Yeah, your lady's a big animal?
Oh, yeah. 5 dogs, cat, guinea pigs, 2 parrots.
Oh, yeah.
But we're in Siesta Key, Florida, so this parrot can live out under the pool cage.
Oh, good for that parrot. Parrots are awesome, by the way. I think they live to like 30, 40 as well.
Really?
Yeah, they live a long time. They're like smarter than you and I both.
You have to put them in your will.
Ty with a question.
Coach Haley, we've seen all these rumors coming out from Jacksonville. It says Urban Meyer's already looking at going back to USC. My question is, as a coach, do you think he already knows, oh, shit, we're going to be in trouble there? And we always talk he doesn't really have expectations per se, but was there ever a point when you're coaching where obviously you're going to go out there and you're not just going to fold, but it's oh, boy, we're really in trouble here? Do you really think he's already considering oh, the NFL is just too tough for me and I'm going to have to go back to college?
I can't speak for him. He actually lives about a quarter mile down the road.
Send a parrot! Send a fucking parrot!
But I can't speak. But I don't think coaches are wired like that. I mean, obviously we've seen it happen a couple times through the years, but I think, most competitive coaches that take pride in what they do, they want to go do the job and do it at a high level. I mean, my first year in Kansas City, it looked like the sky was falling every single day. But as the year went on, Jamal Charles all of a sudden shows up. He's running for 220 yards. And it gave us, I think that's the deal. You're on a team that was worse than the league last year. It's a big job. it takes time. You just, and I know he's a very good coach, and I've gotten to know him well since being down here, but it's just going through that process, not panicking, but nobody wants to hear that noise on the exterior, and that's all, us now. I'm a media guy because I'm on Sirius, so I got to lump myself into it, but it's all of us talking about it. I mean, it's like Tua having to hear the Deshaun Watson rumor. I mean, that's the last thing I think Brian Flores won anybody, to release and let out there. So, I think Urban, he's in it for the long haul, but again, I can't speak for him. I don't know what he's going to do, but I got to believe he took the job for a reason and to try to turn that organization around and become a good team again.
And the owner, the Khan family, has invested mightily in his vision and everything like that. If he was just to bail after 1 year, I understand that like coaches have done that in the past. That's going to be a tough sell, I think, for people not to be like, what are you doing? You can't do it.
What the hell?
But there's a couple good jobs, I guess, out there. And Vic Fangio said that Urban told him afterwards, like every week's like playing Alabama. And it's almost like, I bet a lot of NFL coaches wanted to be like, yeah, dude, this is the fucking men's league up here. Things are a little, is that
Alabama on steroids?
Yeah. Is that what do you think that's how coaches, though, would potentially view Urban coming up and get a lot of hype, like guys who have been around a long time that aren't head coaches that maybe we haven't met or heard of? Like, yeah, you can do it in college, but this is a different animal up here. Is that like a pretty known thought, or is the coaching fraternity pretty tight?
No, I think coaches are coaches. Like I said, I went to that Ohio State pro day every year, so I got to know Urban and then down here. But, I've always think very highly of him as a coach and how he operates. But at the same time, I think coaches understand that just like players, when you come from college into the NFL, there is a transition period. It's a little different. There's things there's a lot of different things you have to do, especially as the head coach. So, but like I said, if you're a good coach, I think you figure out a way to be a good coach.
Last question for you. We can't appreciate you enough. Go ahead, Tone.
Coach, Monday night, it was reported that Matt LaFleur went up to his defensive coordinator at halftime and said, hey, figure it the fuck out. When you were an OC under Tomlin, him being on the defensive side, does he ever come up to you and say like something like that during the game? How was it to be an OC under Tomlin?
Awesome. I mean, Mike Tomlin is one of my favorite people. Gave me an opportunity with, he's a funny guy. You'll feel bad about yourself when you go out to pro days because he'll take you into the deep end at night before the pro days at the bar potentially. But
really, Tomlin, like that?
Listen, you don't want to play. No, he is awesome. So smart.
That's awesome.
But that's what's great about the Steelers organization in general. And he falls in line from, again, I grew up as a ball boy, watching Chuck Noll and all those guys, but the Steelers let their coaches coach. They let their scouts scout. They just let everybody do their job. But to have a guy as smart as Mike and such a great defensive coach, we'd sit down at the beginning of every week and just kind of talk about, I'd ask him how many points we need to score, and he'd honestly say, like, we probably need 30 this week. Whatever it was. I mean, so awesome. Enjoyed every single minute with Mike Tomlin. I mean, if not the best, one of the best coaches in the league right now, and I think it shows. I mean, he finds a way to get it done regardless of the circumstances, and he is an energy bringer every single day.
That's awesome. Well, we enjoyed every single minute we had with you here, man. Feel free to come on back whenever.
I'm up for it. I need to do it once when AJ's in there so I can talk about his golf game.
Hey, he'll be back. He'll be back next week, I think, because this guy has. Listen to this work ethic. Ohio guy, right? We always hear Ohio guys. He's missed 6 of the last 8 days of work.
Yep.
6 of the last 8 days of work. Now he's representing America. He was at some yuppie event last week. What's going on with this guy, dude? What's going on?
I don't know, Pat. I'm sitting on a porch in Siesta Key with a parrot talking to you. I can't judge anybody else.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you, man. Coach Todd Haley.
Yeah, Coach!
All right, we got a minute and a half. I got to run to the bathroom before we're back. That guy was fucking awesome.
And man,
that guy was awesome. We got to have him back on sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard some hilarious stories about that.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious story. We're talking like legendary.
Oh, he's one of us.
How about Tomlin?
Yeah.
He'll take you into the deep end there night before that whole thing, too.
Well, that's why Glazer was going out with him during training camp.
Jay knew.
Is that when Jay didn't get the rental car the next day and he had to do that?
He had to walk to Cleveland.
That's that deep end. That's what he was talking about. All right, we're back in like 1 minute. I got to sprint and go to the bathroom. That was really cool. Shout out to Todd Haley. Tristan Wirfs joins us in the next hour. Hawkeye and Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneer tackle. All right, see you in a minute.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, years after the year zero was founded. We'll begin immediately following this beat drop from Twine. There it is. Here we go. The hammered Dahn head honcho COVID cowboy 10 Diggs is obviously in the studio. How you doing, pal? Did we hammer the risk-free same-game parlay that's at the top of FanDuel right now?
I did, and I always will because it is risk-free and it's a no-brainer, Pat.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for saying that. It feels like I'm not sure if you said that seriously or as satirical.
Seriously.
So you're on the side of this. You like that bet?
I love that bet.
Really?
Tony, come on.
Go ahead, Tony.
You put a fucking over in there. What am I supposed to say?
Yeah, you're right. You're a big under guy. It's only 43, though. What are we talking about?
Come on.
I just love Carolina's defense.
Okay, I understand that. 10 Diggs, host of Hammered Down, alongside at Bubba Gumpino. How are you guys? Oh, here is the risk-free same-game parlay that is available. Here's the rules that FanDuel and I had to agree upon for this to become a thing. Basically, I think for the foreseeable future on Thursday Night Football games.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Awesome.
I think for the foreseeable future. Can go to as close to plus 2,000 as possible, okay? Can't go lower than plus 400. If it does, in the end, even after the odds change, because if like the Carolina Panthers minus 7.5 odds change, which changes the rest of the parlay, if it goes below plus 400, they'll refund everybody's money and say, no, we can't do this.
Let's go.
We ain't doing this. So it is kind of a long shot that they're asking me to put together, but it's risk-free if you opt in. And I think we're going to hit this one. Over 43 total points. Carolina Panthers minus 7.5. Christian McCaffrey anytime first half TD score. Christian McCaffrey anytime second half TD score. If you've watched Carolina Panthers, which I feel like I actually have a little bit, every time I look at the screen, the Carolina Panthers on, guess who has the ball?
Yeah.
McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey.
Every time.
So the only thing that potentially affects us is something we did talk about a couple weeks ago, in that although two sprains, Carson Wentz is the most electrifying roller coaster of a football player I've ever seen in my life. Reckless, and he's out there. Sprained both of his ankles on one play. And Carson Wentz actually was interviewed on a weekly segment, I believe that's going to happen throughout the entire season, called Wednesday, by a local news station, Wish TV. Anthony Calhoun, legend of a man, has been the sports person for Wish TV forever. He was the first person to put me on TV.
No kidding.
Yeah, Anthony Calhoun.
Shout out.
He's now doing Wednesdays every Wednesday night with Carson Wentz. Just a local station here, by the way, Wish TV, which is awesome. This is what Wentz had to say about his style of play.
It's a constant fight within myself of just finding that right balance of knowing when to be aggressive, when to slide, protect myself, when to dive, get down, all of those things. And I mean, after every Sunday night when I'm watching the game film at home, there's always one or two that I'm like, hey, that was great. And there's always one that's like, okay, that could be better. So it's always an internal battle, something that I'm always trying to learn, because at the end of the day, I want to be available. I want to be out there every play, every week. And so I got to look at myself in the mirror and look very thoroughly to see how can I be better so that I can be available.
Okay, and they showed a video in that package. If you're just listening on SiriusXM, he was walking off the field with 2 sprained ankles after last week's game.
Pretty gingerly, but
he was, but his face just looked like it was just another day at the office. And this is something that I'll say about Carson Wentz. He's a tough son of a bitch.
That's right.
Okay, he sprained both of his ankles, and a minute later, 2 minutes later, was trying to get back on the field after they taped one of his ankles. He didn't even know his other ankle was sprained at the moment, because all he wanted to do was play football.
That's right.
That's all Carson Wentz wanted to do. Okay, so like that is, we have the utmost respect. But watching him here now for the first 2 games as the Colts quarterback, as the guy that we have invested in, and this team last year was very good, didn't lose a lot of pieces. Justin Houston, I guess, could potentially be a massive part of this thing, and it seems like secondary's got a little thing cooking. Right, they'll figure, this team is ready to go. So the quarterback that was brought in, right, when Matthew Stafford was allegedly interested in becoming an Indianapolis Colt, he was actually looking at homes in Indianapolis. Matthew Stafford was probably going to be my fucking neighbor in his mind. He was coming to Indianapolis, and the Los Angeles Rams traded 3 first-rounders. He goes there. All of a sudden, the Colts are out of the market now, so it's nice to hear that we were actually in the real running with Matthew Stafford, and Matthew Stafford really wanted to come here before the Cabo Hotel.
Was that tampering?
Tampering situation.
Feels like it.
Tampering?
So if the Rams win this year, just know that's actually a Colts Super Bowl. That's actually a Colts Super Bowl, because Cabo Hotels.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyways, we end up getting Carson Wentz. Watching him here for the first 2 weeks, it's a roller coaster. He's a wild animal. 2 sprains gives no fucks about his body at all. Every single play. No play left behind. He's damn near, he is reckless whenever he's playing football. And I don't know how the Philadelphia Eagles fans were able to do it for all those years, because it's awesome. It's riveting. It's amazing. He makes some incredible plays. But then it's always like, oh, this guy's going to die out here. This guy's trying to die out here. Carson Wentz is not the only one like that. Christian McCaffrey explodes into contact. He is an animal. So explosive, so athletic, so dynamic, so must-see TV. But also on the other side of that, I watch him and I think to myself, how does that guy survive? His body, although it was created by generations of Olympians, and also his dad in the NFL, obviously, but I think his wife's family is even more athletic. I think grandpa, aunt, mom, everybody's like Olympic athlete. So although his body was potentially pieced together by the most athletic humans out there, and he is an incredible freak athlete, at some point it's still a human body. And some of these hits that he takes, and some of the, I don't want to say it's not reckless, because everything he does is cerebral. He's got great vision. I understand that. But he'll hit a hole going 400 miles an hour, which is a gift, because he breaks free. He goes untouched a lot of time. I mean, he is awesome to watch. But there's some massive collisions. And some of those collisions can get, obviously, with a pile and everything. You just have to worry about his health, especially coming after last year. But he and Carson Wentz are the 2 people at the beginning of the season I was like, hey, and Joey Burrow, I guess we also threw in there. I was like, hey, these guys got to watch themselves. And here we are 2 weeks into the season. Carson Wentz has had a broken foot, and he has 2 sprained ankles. Christian McCaffrey seems to be incredibly healthy on a short week. That burst that he has might blow by everybody. But when you watch him, think to yourself, how does that human body handle what it is taking over and over and over and over again for 17 weeks? And if he's able to do it, this goddamn guy might be a superhero. And that's why I'm betting on him to score in the first half. I'm betting on him to score in the second half, because I love it. And I think we should enjoy it. When he's on the field, we should try to enjoy it as much as possible.
Yes.
Because it is unbelievable to watch that dude fucking fly around. Go ahead, Ty.
He's almost too explosive.
Bingo. That's what he looks like. He's faster than everybody.
And it's tough, because in his position, that's how he has to play. Like, he can't really, I mean,
it's awesome
we
to
always
watch.
talk about avoiding hits and getting out of bounds and stuff like that a little bit, but that ain't how he plays.
Well, you can't.
Yeah, it just so it's tough. And with Wentz too, you talk about all the previous injury history too, and the kind of the narrative was hey, he's coming here. Their offensive line is unbelievable. It's ready to go. He's not gonna have to worry about that anymore. He needs to protect himself.
Well, it doesn't sound. He said it's always a constant battle, and there was one or two plays he said that's wrong. I watched the play. There was like 40 of them that I thought maybe we could have just gave up.
And notice he said slide, too. He has never done that. He dives head first every
time.
Yeah, no matter what.
He lied in the video.
Yeah. Well,
he doesn't know how to slide.
The guy's no idea. I mean, Carson Wentz, guy you want to be friends with.
Yeah.
Guy you'd like to go into a bar with if you're potentially going to get into it. This guy will literally eat punches until 2 a.m. if he has to for the entire team. And he ain't going down. If he does go down, guess what? He's not just gnawing on kneecaps. He's getting back up and he's trying to knock you out completely again. The play that he sprained both of his ankles on, he had, by all accounts, top 5 football player of all time wrapped around him completely. And he decided to cork his body back, try to get his feet down so he could throw a 6-yard completion to Michael Pittman Jr. Okay? Obviously, that was not a completion. The ball did not make it to Michael Pittman, and both of his ankles got sprained on the same play. I mean, that was just one of the plays. There was numerous other ones where he's diving like he's jumping into a pool like a dog chasing one of those balls in the dog long jump contest off the dock into the pond. On his face instead of sliding like everybody else. He is a psychopath.
Yes.
And I appreciate it. It is awesome to watch. But I mean, his entire life, the family of his teammates just had to, there had to be so much of that because I'm only 2 weeks into this thing and I'm like, is he?
Oh, he's getting back up.
Jesus Christ. Every single time it feels like that, and it's like, oh, that was a 30-yard completion. Let's see what a 5-yard loss looks like. You know, it just never, ever. It's unbelievable. What were you going to say, Tone?
He basically plays like he's wearing an electric dog collar, and the out of bounds is an electric fence. And there's no chances. But for your bet tonight, by the way, Houston is 2-0 to the over. Good
That's
news.
what I'm talking about.
There we go. Last week,
their defense lets them score.
Last week they gave up almost 9 yards of carry to Chubb, so that's good news for McCaffrey.
I'm hot.
The only issue, as far as trends, they are 2-0 against ATS. But so are the Panthers.
Well, you know.
That was with Tyrod.
That was with Tyrod.
True. Different team.
Jerry Mills, who knows what's going to happen.
You know how they say floor's lava or whatever?
Yeah.
That's how.
We're on my fucking picks right now.
Ooh.
Lava.
Carson kind of plays like the floor is lava, too, and if he slides, he's going to die.
Yeah. I mean, it's constant battle, he said. I don't think so. It seems to be a one-sided war.
One-way street.
And by the way, the side that is losing the war is getting battered and bruised so bad, just like Carson Wentz does because of the way he plays, that they're just getting back up and losing again, just getting back up and losing again. This guy will stand up after potentially getting speared by Goldberg, okay? Getting Superman punched by Roman Reigns, right back up, and he'll ask him, do it again.
Yep.
He'll get it himself. If he could have got back on that field after spraining both of his ankles, okay, both of his ankles sprained. One of them was taped. The other one, he was trying to take 5-step, 7-step drops on the side. He was trying to get back in the game. Somebody had to tell him, like, we think you broke both your ankles.
Can't do it.
All right, we're not going to put you on a wheelchair and get you out of here, okay? I understand that's probably not the thing, but you need to just stand and Jacob Eason goes in. He was trying to get back in there. If he would have got back in there, 2 sprains. If Aaron Donald would have gotten that situation again and Michael Pittman was where he was, you fucking know that Carson's like, let me fucking twist this thing.
Yeah,
He's ripped my leg off. That is what you want your players to be like that. Like that is, you hope that your player wants and has a desire to succeed that much and love the game that much and want to win that much. But watching it, it's holy shit, this guy's going to die out here. He's not going to be able to play. And I feel like that with Christian McCaffrey. Like, I love watching Christian McCaffrey play football. Love it.
Yeah.
It like tonight will be a show. They will get him the ball at all times.
Yeah,
They'll throw it to him. They'll pitch to him. They'll run him. They'll screen him. They'll do everything to get him the ball. That is basically the offense. You know how Baltimore is Lamar Jackson? Carolina is Christian McCaffrey. Now, they have Robbie Anderson's a stud, obviously. Sam Darnold's doing his thing. I'm sure they have a tight end. The whole thing. Christian McCaffrey is the centerpiece of that offense.
Yeah.
And him getting the ball when you're watching, it's just like, oh, my God, this guy's awesome. And then every once in a while, you'll see him take a hit, and it's like, all right, we can't have a lot of those.
Yeah.
And then he'll just bounce up somehow.
Yeah.
And he's just right back in there. I'm like, how is this guy's Mondays? Like Tuesdays, you know? Running backs take – I mean, because when he's not involved, he has to sit in there and pass block. So then he's taking another shot. It's just running backs are always getting hit. That's why everybody's so scared to pay them, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. He takes all those hits, and he dives at the you said maybe most explosive. Him and Tyreek is also up there, I guess, but he'll hit these collisions harder, it seems like, and faster and have zero fear going in there. It's awesome to watch, but I just get scared for these guys.
I know.
I just get scared for him.
I know. It's not sustainable. And to your point about Wentz, like, we had him in studio. Like, he's a lovely guy. I do not want to see him be the first NFL player to get decapitated on a football field, because if he keeps diving head first, it's going to fucking happen.
Just slide, dude.
Just slide.
Just slide.
You're 6'11", dude. Like, I mean,
that's all you got to do.
He played baseball. He knows.
I seen his knee.
Yeah.
The fact that his knee didn't get hurt in that. He sprained both of his ankles, as everybody said. His knee was up. I mean, Aaron Donald was laying on his knee and him all the way back.
It's lucky he didn't get a hip flexor, too.
Yeah, the guy's fucking Gumby, it seems like, in his knee and in his hips. He should be able to slide then. That's no problem. Put the leg up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think you got to look back even further to Philly. I think he's afraid to do this because of the fact that if he would do all these smart plays like we're talking about in Philadelphia, he knew the fans of Philly were going to burn him down and probably show up at his house and pitch Philly's call.
We're going to Philly this Friday.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, last stop before Extreme Rules.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, you got to go to Philly if it's going to be extreme, dude.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a home of Extreme.
Hell yeah.
Rowdy fans.
Where am I eating at? What cheesesteak?
Well, people say Pats or Geno's, but that's fucking bullshit. Those are tourist spots. Go to D'Alessandro's.
Do you know where that's at?
No idea. I think it's up near Roxbury, Kingsbury, one of those areas.
Well, Delco.
Well, I mean, it's in Delco County, but I don't know exactly where at in Delco. Think Roxbury, I think.
Well, how about those Philadelphia people, man? If you've never met Philadelphia people, like, you won't completely understand what I'm saying, and I think they appreciate this. Those people deserve that happiness that they had for a little bit there while the Eagles were running.
Without question.
You know what I mean?
Needed it.
The most maybe overall pessimistic group around. Maybe just as a whole, just, our team stink or whatever. And the Flyers haven't won since like 1492 or something like that. I mean, they stink, obviously. The Sixers,
they're brutal.
I mean, what is going on there? And the Eagles, for the first time in like 50 years, they do it or whatever, and it's a celebration. And then here we are just a few years later. And it is a vastly different team. Tear it down. Everybody that's on the statue that was happy, let's get them the hell out of here. And Philly fans are just like, of course. Now with Carson Wentz getting hurt and not being able to play 75% of the snaps, so that second round pick will probably not be a first round pick. Of course, Carson Wentz is fucking us over again. That's how they feel in that whole thing. Philly people deserved a little bit of success there. I'm happy they seem to be turning it around right now with Jalen and Coach Sirianni.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good news. Good for them.
By the way, D'Alessandro's is right next to Roxborough Memorial Hospital.
Thought so.
Told you. Don't call me, okay? I used to go there for lunch every single day.
What's your name right now?
Gino. That's why I don't like Geno's or Pat's, because my name's
With an
Gino.
I or
My name's Pat.
That's a good point. You shouldn't like it either. Go to D'Alessandro's.
Yeah, I'll go D'Alessandro's. D'Alessandro's?
D'Alessandro's. Sandro's. It depends where
High
you're from.
Italian contingency in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it went New York, and then you guys kind of go run. We kind of go run out of town, down to Philly, and then over to Pittsburgh, and then to Youngstown, and then I believe Chicago.
Correct.
Right? That's kind of like the
Italian trail.
Mecca.
The pipeline.
Yeah, that's kind of the pipeline.
No, Joe. No coincidence that's also Rust Belt.
You guys kind of just circle the Rust Belt. Okay, everybody inside of here, Rust Belt. We work hard.
Oh, yeah.
That's facts.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting, though, that it feels like some Italian families did kind of stray off, and you have like one Italian family in Indiana.
Well, there's a reason. There's a reason for that.
And then, we did hear about that one guy.
Most likely rats or traitors.
Whoa.
A couple people went on the lam. They went to Florida. A couple people got money. They went to Florida. The sun's nice.
No, but I am always fascinated when we go to like, for instance, we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma or whatever. Like, if I would have met an Italian person, that person doesn't know this, it would have been a good 15, 20-minute conversation about how do we get here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, how did we get here? Like, because...
What went wrong?
Where... Do you know your family? Have you done the thing? Have you done the spit in a cup thing? Do you know your family? How did you guys end up here?
A lot of WIT Pro goes to Tulsa.
Who's that?
Witness protection.
Okay. Yeah,
of course,
obviously.
we also need a couple brave pioneers to take the food out west. We need to expand the pizza dominance.
Well, who did the Midwest? What is the fast food chain?
Don't.
Fazoli's?
Fazoli's.
Oh, yeah, Fazoli's.
The Fazoli family,
Yeah.
the Fazoli family saw great profit of dominating All of the Midwest. Hey,
Yeah.
there's no Italians other than in Chicago and Youngstown in the Midwest. We'll just make a fast food Italian restaurant, and the Fazoli family will be your Italian family friend.
They're on the list.
No.
No.
Very
No.
authentic gravy they have.
They're on the list.
Hey.
Them, Papa John,
Those
that
jerks from
scumbag
Pizza
governor
Hut.
from New York.
Your guy.
That's your guy.
Facci.
Oh, whoa!
Whoa.
They're on the
I
list.
don't know if you. You might have just made a list with what you just said.
Tony.
I don't know if that's good news.
Count your blessings.
Let's go to the 5-hour energy phone line. Hey, you better hope that.
Be careful.
I mean, people probably heard that. Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
For most Italians and cities, it's New York, Philly, and then Illinois or Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, it's population, not population density.
Yeah, population density. Guess who got
Difference. Yeah.
you? Pittsburgh. Yeah, they're everywhere. We're everywhere. Sorry.
Boston, large contingency in Boston
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Well, it's either the mix or the Italians, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. They got the North End. They basically run that whole entire district. Not to mention, Sons Italy is very, very relevant over there.
Have you seen what Little Italy is in New York?
No.
It's not.
It's
gone?
It's gone.
It's Chinatown, pretty much.
It's gone.
No.
Really?
Yeah, I used to go over there all the time. Anytime I was in New York, I'd go through Little Italy and just like stop and try to eat some food over there, take some pictures. Like, hey, it's nice to be here. Pay my respects almost to like everything that had happened. I enjoy. You walk past a couple of the social clubs that are now like shoe stores, but they still have the thing above it, and you can take a picture. Like, hey, this is where old buddy got shot. This is where this happened. This is where it's not. That ain't. It ain't.
Been colonized by the
You guys
Far
sold
East.
it.
I thought they all moved to Yonkers.
The Italians sold it.
Oh.
No.
The Italians sold Little Italy, right? Didn't you guys?
What's basically Chinatown, though.
That's what I'm saying. You guys
So I
sold
got a
it.
lot of money out
Yeah.
of it.
Why did we sell Little Italy? It was a pretty cool place.
We'll go. I mean, because the whole rest of New York is big Italy, so.
Okay. Don't need Little Italy. You got Big Italy.
Yeah.
Don't need New Mexico. Go to Old Mexico.
That's right.
And that's why you never go to New England, because there's
Exactly.
actually England over there.
No.
Have you ever been to England? No.
No. Been to China, though.
How'd it go?
It's pretty cool. They sell seahorses on the street.
To eat?
Yeah. No, live. Pet. Or you could cook them.
Jesus.
Swear to God.
Seahorses? Like
Seen it with my eyes.
the thing that the only
seahorse.
time I've ever seen is people just making it shoot its thing.
It's ink.
Oh,
Yeah.
They were
Seahorses
doing that
have
too.
ink?
Japan was interesting as well. Very different. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't see any seahorses. I don't think. I don't know if I had my eyes peeled enough for the seahorses, and I don't know if I went to any markets that would have seahorses. But
Allegedly good for fertility. Seahorses.
They are.
really, what do you do? You just eat one, or you?
Not to be
Grind it up in
confused-
the dust.
Not to be confused with the oyster.
That's what you should do with your shrooms too, by the way. Mm-hmm. Grind it up in the dust and then put it on something so it doesn't dominate the taste.
That's right. PB&J.
We learned that in my
Health class.
Health and safety.
my senior year of college. There was a new drug testing protocol that was enforced by Bill Stewart, so we had to adapt and overcome, because that's what we fucking do as mountaineers.
Boom.
And we started tasting those cow shit mushrooms there on a regular basis. And then somebody came in who had much more experience than us and said, just grind this thing up, and then just kind of sprinkle it in stuff, and it'll still work, we promise. And then it was like, making a pizza with this thing.
Snack pack pudding cup also.
Oh. You should only do it if you're in a good mood, because it'll make you 10x whatever you're thinking in your brain, just for future reference. So if you're in a bad spot, do not do it. You hear people that have bad trips and stuff like that, it's because they probably went in there not in like a good state of mind or whatever, and it's just going to amplify that. I've had nothing but great times. I mean, I have had great times. I mean, really. They're impossible to find, I guess. And this is not a call to action. I am not. I'm way past that stage of my life. But make sure you're in a good state of mind. I think that is something you got to do.
Word for the wise.
Huh?
Word for the wise.
Word for the wise, yeah. Man,
So I have a bad
that
trip
hole
every
in the
time.
wall show, I still think back to it. I have never seen a more entertaining show in my life than that hole in the wall show. It was amazing. I watched it for 3 hours straight in the living room, dying.
When Ladies Eat tried to fit through that hole.
That producer, you know who might have been that producer, now that I think about it?
Who's that?
Probably the Jeopardy Wheel of Fortune guy.
Mike Richards.
Oh, wow.
The
You
guy
might be
that
right.
sent the hole that was this big
it
for the
wasn't
lady.
LeBron?
That, huh?
Wasn't LeBron?
No, that was
No.
the wall. Okay, but I'm saying the producer that sent. Yeah, that's two different things. Hole in the Wall was this show where humans had to stand on like a little platform in front of a pool, and then a wall would come at them, and then they had to fix their body into the hole. And if you contorted your body into the hole, the wall would go past you. You would get points. When the Jeopardy Wheel of Fortune producer of this thing sent this one particular lady a wall, Everybody in the city knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was just a waiting game. It was a countdown game. And this lady took out the entire wall. She took out the wall.
She did.
She moved the entire thing. They didn't give her any points. I thought she beat the game, but I was crying thinking about how many people had to okay that. And then that thing gets sent out there and they're like, yeah, let's run. Yeah. Yeah.
They had to shut down production for 3 weeks after that.
The wall ended up
chance. Should have canceled the show. I mean, where in the contract does it say, hey, you in some cases you might have to lose 185 pounds to fit through the wall?
Why?
So funny, Diggs. Let's go to the phones.
I thought it was Siciliano's producer.
I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, which, by the way, we don't know.
We don't know.
Could be Mike Richards.
The guy could be free, but I'm just saying, that night I was introduced to that show. And that particular episode really put it over. And I watched like 3 hours straight of that show, dying.
It's a good show.
Great show. It's gone. There's no way they can still do that show.
Bring it back.
She had no chance.
I mean, how is she supposed to?
She was very positive, hilarious lady, by the way.
She's also 7 feet tall, and that thing's 5'4".
Yeah, it was unfair. But what I will say is, if you do potentially accidentally eat some, booms or whatever,
Good show.
that is a great show to watch.
Absolutely.
Keep you in a good state of mind. Let's go to some phone calls here, shall we? Let's go to Tyler in Florida. Tyler in Florida on the 5 Energy phone line. What's going on, Tyler? A Florida man.
Howdy, boys. How we doing today? Happy Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I want to go off because the AFC South is looking like dog water, okay? We got Carson Wentz about as fragile as a wet napkin.
Fragile? I don't think that's...
We got Jacksonville can't run the ball, so we have Trevor Lawrence throwing it 50 times in the first game. Of course he's going to throw 3 picks.
Of course.
My prediction is Tennessee is going to run away with it, and Houston might come up as second in the division if the Indianapolis Colts don't get it together.
All right, Tyler, thank you for the AFC South breakdown. A couple things. I will not take Carson Wentz's soft slander.
Mm-hmm.
He is not soft. Watch 4 plays of that guy and see the hits that he throws himself into every single game and be like, okay, that guy's not soft. I don't think he's fragile either because he should have more than just 2 sprained ankles. I think his hips, his knees, potential shoulders, and his head should all be something that is on the injury report.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand where he misses games. It's not because he's fragile. It's because he is a psychopath on the football field.
That's right.
Yes.
Now, in the Jacksonville Jaguars situation, that is one where they're going to stink. Everybody knows they're going to stink. They're trying to turn that thing around. Maybe they'll continue to get their players in there. Can Urban Meyer win in the NFL? We have no idea. Now, do I think Urban Meyer is going to leave and go back to college? No, I do not think he's going to do that. I think it'll be a very tough thing to sell to people if after everything that this team has committed to Urban, I mean, they're building a city because of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're turning that entire thing into a city. Duval is becoming like an entire area, I think, of that downtown area because this is what Urban needs. This is what he needs to do. His relationship with the Kahn family is allegedly a very close one. They met at Big Ten conferences because the Kahn family's from the University of Illinois, and they've been doing this for a couple years. I just don't think he can bail right now, especially after everything he had talked about. Now, he did have a cushy job at Fox. There are some other college teams that maybe, I guess everybody would hire Urban Meyer if he was available to do that. I just think he wants to see whether or not he can succeed in the NFL, and I would like to see that as well. We can't automatically guarantee that he's going to win in the NFL just because he won in college. A lot of stats have told us that that is not necessarily the case. So I don't think there's many expectations for the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. Tennessee Titans, though, that second half as Derrick Henry continued to start rolling and the defense seemed to put some clamps down, and Russell Wilson normally would come back and win that thing, and Pete Carroll even said, wish Russell would have done a little bit more for us there in a non-angry way. I think the Titans are obviously the favorite. They were the favorite going into the season, but with Matthew Stafford, the quarterback of the Colts, I do wonder what people would be saying and what the team would look like because Carson's going to miss a few games this year.
Oh, yeah, at least.
But he's going to play his ass off. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the Titans are a pretty safe bet to run away with the AFC South at this moment. Now, the Colts might turn this thing around. Let's not get this thing crazy. 2 Springs might learn he has to stay in the pocket because he can't roam and go anywhere, and that might set the team up better, by the way. Phil Rivers couldn't run at all. Phil Rivers could not really move at all, and that offense was efficient. Now it's obviously Sirianni's left.
Right.
There's a new offense coordinator. There's some other things going on, but I think this team could get hot. But right now, it would be very dumb not to say the Titans, especially after that second half in overtime against Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, aren't the favorite in the
Yeah,
AFC.
Julio coming back too. He looks great, but I mean, I am not completely sold on Urban not leaving after the season. Like, think about what happened in Florida. As soon as things went south, Urban said, "You know, my heart's fucking killing me. I got to get the hell out of here."
Yeah, but he already won a national championship there.
Yeah, exactly. And so he probably wants to go back, and he's looking around at Jacksonville and looking around at 31 Alabama, saying, "Yeah, shit, I don't have a goddamn chance, especially in the AFC."
What he just referenced there, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but we did not run the clip. Vic Fangio, head coach of the Denver Broncos, who people have been asking to get fired for years, it feels
Long
like.
time.
Got a great team right now with Teddy Two Gloves undefeated. He said he got a chance to chat with Urban Meyer after the game, and this is what happened.
You know, I don't know Urban Meyer at all, really. I met him the other day, you know, shook his hand before the game and after the game. And his comment to me was every week it's like playing Alabama in the NFL. You know, and that's it. Everybody's capable of beating everybody in this.
Any given Sunday, and it's not just, and Todd Haley said, yeah, like a super Alabama, though, not just Alabama. And that's real, though, because in college, there are some weeks that not that you can take any games off because there are upsets that are insane, and we've all just thought of our favorite one in our head right now. I just saw Corey blocking the field goal from Appalachian State over Michigan. It happens every weekend. Jackson State just beat Florida State.
Yep.
I mean, these things happen, but there are a lot of weeks where you know, like, okay, we roll the ball on the field, we're going to win. And when we win, our program's going to continue to grow, and then there's a couple games we got to really get up for. It's like in the NFL, everybody's trying to keep their jobs. Everybody's trying to make money. So players are going, coaches are going. And I still believe that a lot of the NFL coaches go like, hey, Urban, we respect what you did in college, but it's a different game up here. You, just like a lot of your other college football friends. And Pete Carroll, I guess people will say he had success at USC. He was in the NFL, though, before that as well. So I'm not sure if he's necessarily just a college coach. I think he's been an NFL coach. I became a college coach. I came back to the NFL. But a lot of college coaches have failed in the NFL. And I think a lot of NFL coaches around that maybe we don't know. Maybe, obviously, you know, head coaches and some offense coordinators and some defense coordinators, depending upon the team. But I bet there's a lot of position coach who's been around that are just like, yeah, we are trying to embarrass this guy.
Yeah.
And that is every single week. And I think that's what Saban has Alabama do every single week is like go every week. But that is really the thing. And I love the Fangio just like, yeah, dude, this is what the fucking men's league is.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I love that. But maybe Urban sees it as a challenge as opposed to something he doesn't want to do every single day.
But you even mentioned Saban. Like, Saban, by all accounts, is considered one of the greatest college coaches of all time. But
I think he's the greatest at this point, right?
Yeah, sure.
Bayer, maybe?
I don't know college.
I don't know the history.
Saban's one more than him.
Yeah.
Bayer, Urban's up there. But it's like, hey, dude, that's your avenue. Just stay in it. The NFL's not meant for everybody.
But if he goes and wins in the NFL, guess who didn't?
Saban.
So maybe while out on that boat, you know, he was out on
Speedo
that boat
party.
giving that interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, Speedo party out there. Just getting after it, by the way, a couple guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sound like a
Fishing.
yeah, CBD fishing.
fellas.
Oh, yeah, doing the whole thing, obviously.
Yeah. Boys
During that
being
interview.
boys. Yeah. Put some pants on.
come hit this.
I bet that on that boat they had a conversation like, you know what Saban done? Everybody's talking about Saban. They forget I
for
did this.
sure.
Utah, Florida, Ohio State.
What?
I mean, I've been doing this everywhere. What are we even talking about here? He never won the NFL? Fuck it, I'll go to the NFL. Let me call Con from his boat that I'm on right now. Hey, I want to come to the NFL. And then nobody said, like, what happens if you just fucking lose every game?
Exactly.
Nobody said that, you think? Or do you think somebody said that? Do you think somebody told him, like, it's going to be a long road, it's going to be difficult? You don't think anybody told him that?
No one said
I don't
that.
think so.
I think somebody had to have told him that. Do you don't think?
With Trevor Lawrence, they're probably like, you'll get Trevor. You'll be great. And also, apparently, the Jags O-line has been very good this year so far. They're like second in least amount of pressures in the league. So it feels like it's a lot on Urban right now.
Yeah, and he was asked if he was out-coached, and he said, I don't think he was out-coached, no. But that is a question everybody asks after a loss. Right? It's like I love that the media people are now like, you think your team's getting embarrassed out there, or do you think your team's on an even playing field just because this is the first time you've ever really been able to say anything like this to Urban Meyer? You know? Because even when Urban Meyer would lose in the playoffs or in the national championship or whatever, it was like, good year, we'll bounce back next year. Another top 2 recruiting class coming in, and then boom, here we go. There's never really been time for some media members to look at Urban and ask him, like, your team seemed to be unprepared on 3rd downs and in the red zone. Your thoughts on that? Like, that doesn't happen in college football.
No.
Like, those types of things do not happen. Now, the people that maybe don't love Urban, and I'm not saying that this is something that this might not even be real, but I'm assuming there are some media people who are excited to potentially ask a question to Urban if things continue to go sour, because Urban has never been in this situation. We haven't seen him in this situation since what, Bowling Green, which is like 30 years ago or whatever. So this could become a long year for Urban. I hope, unlike you, I hope he sticks around and turns this thing around, because that would be pretty sweet to watch.
Well, and it's still early, obviously, and they have a lot of time to, kind of turn things around a little bit and improve. But if they are historically bad this year, like if they go 1-16 or 0-17, like I do have a tough time thinking that he'd be like, okay, let's do it again next year. Like, he's lost 9 games in his coaching career in college, and then you turn around your first season in the NFL, you lose 17. You have
whoa! You just said they're going to go 0-17.
I'm not saying they will, but if they were to be historically bad, they've looked really bad
and
so far.
They are by far the odds-on favorites go 0-17.
Yeah, that's why I see the stuff with the Lions. It's like you can tell, like they're at least. I mean, they'll compete. They'll put like the Jags going into those games. It's just like it feels like very early. It's like they're gonna get killed. They're gonna get crushed today.
No conversation about Trevor Lawrence though. Everything's about Urban Meyer. So Urban is probably pretty appreciative of that. Remember, if Urban's painting this as like, I'm a super genius, he brought in Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was the conversation of all of training camp. Now that they're stinking, he's the conversation instead of Trevor Lawrence. Protecting his quarterback. That's what Urban Meyer does. Protects his players. That's what people are going to want to come play for him in the offseason, especially if you're able to offer them the most amount of money.
Yeah.
And there's a salary cap, and other teams can offer just as much as you can. It's a fascinating tale to see how this whole thing works out with him.
The Lions in Detroit don't win very much, so I don't want to take this from them. They are the favorites to go 0-17.
Damn, the Lions are.
Yeah, they're plus 150. Jags are plus 250.
That's a bad bet. Lions are going to win some football games
that's the last winless team.
Some schedules involved with that.
Is there this team probably going to go...
Jags to go 0-17 plus 2,000. Lions to go 0-17 plus 1,800.
Yikes.
Okay. All right.
Plus 2,000.
I was wrong. The Jags aren't by far.
Jets are also plus 2,000 to go 0-17.
Hammer it.
All right, let's get to a break. We're back on the other side with Tristan Wirfs.
Here we go.
Can't wait to chat with him. Offensive tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, also former Hawkeye.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait to chat with this man who is an absolute beast, only 22 years old, already being talked about as this guy might go Dahn as a conversation. And it's like, hey, unfucking believable tackle. Maybe greatest of all time. This is like Quentin Nelson came in and took over. And the reason why I knew Quentin Nelson was good, because all the other offensive linemen were talking about how good he was. Offensive linemen rarely give credit to anybody. I think they don't want credit. They don't give credit. It's not one of those things. But everybody talks about a couple. Quentin Nelson gets talked about a lot. Obviously, Joe Thomas got a lot of respect from a lot of offensive linemen. Tristan Wirfs got a lot of respect from a lot of veteran offensive linemen very early in his career last year, and he's only continuing to do better, I think. I can't wait to chat with this guy. Go Hawks, dude.
Go Hawks, baby.
See you in 4 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Mike Tomlin.
Oh, man, Pat, it's an honor to be on with you, man. Thanks for having me.
You're a legend. Thank you for putting me through my workout and having the scouts actually come watch me kick at West Virginia. I don't think I've ever fully thanked you for that moment, Coach.
No, man. I've drank the McAfee Kool-Aid for a long time.
Let's get right into it. The locker room culture changed completely when I was in the league, from when I was a rookie to when I was done, and I retired after the 2016 season. Now it's even more different, I would assume, from when you came into Pittsburgh and everything like that. The dancing on the logo, the TikTok, everything like that you guys have had to experience. What is your messaging in there? How do you adapt and let players be themselves without, doing too much? Because that is a fine balance that you've been able to do, I think, in an incredible job with throughout your entire time in Pittsburgh.
I think for me, more than anything, I try to stay connected. Just getting a sense of where these guys are coming from, what's in vogue for their generation, what captures their attention, how do they learn, how do they communicate, how do they interact with each other formally and informally. early, and I think being a parent kind of helps me. You know, my boys are 19 and 20, so it's not much difference between them and some of the younger guys that I deal with here. And so for me, it's just about gaining an understanding, working to stay connected. You know, that's my general attitude, man. It's adapt or die for me. And I don't want to be one of them old crusty guys, man, that just refuses to adapt. Although I am one of those old crusty guys now.
Yeah, you are old as shit now. You know what I mean? I mean, you've been around a long time. I remember back in the day, whenever you showed up, there was a lot more, you know, to the camera. There was a lot more.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Now you're just old ass man now, huh?
You know how it is. Years in this business will scar you, man. It'll settle you down.
That is classic. One of my favorite moments with you is when you would tell me every warm-up, I'm going to get you back to Pittsburgh when you're old and cheap. What's that mean? What did that mean? And should that have been taken as a smack in the mouth, like whenever you said that to me?
No, man, it was a tip of the cap, man. There's certain guys around this league that I'm really interested in, but I know I cannot afford. And you were one of them, so I was going to wait for you to physically deteriorate a little bit until you came back into my wheelhouse.
Yinzers are going to go bananas in Heinz Field this weekend. First time it could be filled up in a long time. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to... Oh, mama, I'm here for my life. Is that your alarm clock? Yeah, just say yes, by the way. Yeah.
It's my ringtone. It's my alarm clock.
We appreciate you, Coach T. Last question before we let you go. Why'd you let Troy Polamalu do what he fucking did to me? Why'd you let... I know you've heard of this. Why? Well, that's a short side of the field. That's bad football. You guys coaching unsound football over there in Pittsburgh? How did that happen?
We know you and love you as a man. But on Sundays in the fall, man, you're the nameless gray faces that we...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, never had a losing season, absolute legend, two-time Super Bowl champion, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah!
Thank you, Coach.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Big day today, boys.
Hell yeah.
Arby's is back and coming in clutch, sponsoring Aaron Rodgers Tuesday starting next week.
Wow.
This year, Arby's saw the NIL rules change and knew that they had to do something for these NCAA athletes that weren't able to receive anything for far too long. Arby's said, we need to get in on the action. Arby's said, we want to help and we want to be a part of these NIL situations with these athletes because they deserve it.
Yes, they do.
More specifically, RB said, the people we want to take care of are RBs.
Oh, clever.
Running backs.
Yeah, clever.
You see that? RB said, how do we get into the game? What do we need to do? Arby's. 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 Arby's.
Wow.
Genius.
Yeah.
Arby's has launched a sponsorship program where Arby's will pay as many D1 college running backs as they can. Just for saying, tonight, I'm getting Arby's. If you know a D1 college running back, tell them to go to arbys.com/RBs.
Okay.
Okay.
And follow the rules and enter that entire thing. All you have to do is be a D1 running back. Post tonight I'm going to Arby's with hashtag sponsored and hashtag Arby'sRBs. And Arby's will pay the first 200 eligible athletes who participate $500.
Holy shit.
Arby'sRBs will also receive exclusive merch from Arby's athletic lines, specially designed for this year's Arby's class. Make sure you follow all the rules and enter at arbys.com/RBs. School eligibility is required.
Let's go.
It's crazy. 200 people getting $500. You start doing the math. Wow. That's big. And those people aren't just any people. Those people are RBs
Arby's. Once again, we love Arby's around here. We think it's a blue-collar meal. It's if you mock Arby's, that means you probably grew up in a place that we don't want to be friends with you anyways.
That's right.
Arby's is delicious.
It is. Steak sandwich commercial out right now.
Oh, baby. We love Arby's, and we love Arby's. Arby's. Joining us now is a man who has blocked for a lot of Arby's. All right. Tackle, Super Bowl champion, Iowa Hawkeye, young-ass legend in the making. Ladies and gentlemen, tackle Tristan Wirfs.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Hey, fantastic. Thank you for joining us, man. You're a monster out there on the field, dude.
Oh, I'm trying my best.
AQ told me last year, very early upon meeting you, he said, hey, nobody's really talking about it, but we got this rookie offensive lineman out of Iowa. He's a fucking stud. And then obviously everybody saw your welcome to the NFL moment with Khalil, and I think that was your only sack. You go all the way through. You win a Super Bowl. Now you're back in there. How do you feel this year as compared to last year as a rookie in the NFL, especially at offensive line where you're dealing with grown men? Was it an easy transition for you? It seems like it was very natural. And do you know more this year than you did last year, you think?
Yeah, I don't think it was that easy of a transition. I mean, having Shaq and JPP, kind of baptized me by fire in camp. That was a lot of fun. But I think just this year I'm a little less less anxious. I have an understanding of the playbook a little more. A year under my belt, playing next to Cap and everything. So just not as anxious, I'd say. Going out on the field.
What's it like with Tom behind you? You got the GOAT, you know what I mean? And then Gronk is maybe next to you, and you're talking about maybe greatest of all time tight end as well. And then that team is filled with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. What is it like being so young, already so successful, but also getting a chance to maybe lean on some of the most successful humans in the history of the whole sport?
Yeah, so at first it felt like in Madden or like NCAA, like doing like a creative player, and you just put them on the best team. It's like I remember the first time I was in the huddle with like Tom to my left, Gronk to my right, Mike Evans across from me. So there's all these guys in our huddle, AB. I was like, this is insane. At the same time, just hearing them talk and seeing the way they go about their business is really great. You got to be a sponge, around all these guys. Just absorb everything you can.
It sounds like you're doing it the right way, and it's showing up on the field. Congratulations in that. I mean, zero thanks at offensive line, especially when you're playing against a human like Aaron Donald. And I think Aaron Donald is a guy that gets chatted about by everybody, commentators, fellow teammates, peers, everybody. Like, hey, this guy is different. This dude is a freak. You got a chance to experience him, I think, last year. Going into this weekend, you're going to have to see him in L.A. What is it like whenever you're preparing for somebody like that? Is it more mental? Is it more physical? Whenever you know Aaron Donald's going to be staring you down probably 30 to 40 plays probably this weekend, what is it like going in and preparing as, 22-year-old guy, basically?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. You know how good he is. It's unreal. But it's physical as well because he has so many tools. He's so explosive, so strong. He's got so many tools in his arsenal. That he can beat you with. So it's understanding what you have to do to go out there and be successful. Against a guy like that. So it's gonna I know the Rams, they want to put us in 5 individual matchups. So it's gonna be each guy going out there and having to win that battle.
Whenever you have to do that, you're going to have to do that. Are you a guy who just wants to get to your spot? Like I think Joe Thomas and a couple others, they're so good because they're just so good at getting to their spot and being patient. Is that your style? What is your style, you think, whenever you go out there? Do you use your athleticism? Is it a power game? What is your style, you think, whenever you go out there?
Oh, that's a good one. I think it's a little bit of both. I know I like getting my hands on guys. If it comes down to it, I want to play in a phone booth. And I think I try to use my athleticism sometimes. If it comes down to that. But other than that, I just like going out and getting my hands on guys. Just making it a close battle.
Do you flip the switch and turn into a psycho out there, or are you pretty calm, cool, and collected?
No, I'm pretty calm.
Do you talk?
Not really. I remember I was mic'd up last year, and they asked me, hey, can we put a mic on you? And I was like, if you want to. I was like, I don't talk that much. And they got kind of hesitant. They're like, well, I don't know if we want to do it then. And I was like, I'll talk some more. And so it felt really weird because I found myself just constantly saying random things. But yeah, normally I just kind of keep quiet, or like I talk to Cap. But yeah, I don't talk all that much.
Yeah, sounds like you're just a silent killer out there. Yeah, I'm just calm, relaxed. I don't talk, and I just dominate everybody. Yeah, I'm 21 years old. I'm about to go to the Super Bowl. I'm going to give up 1 sack on the entire season. And Tom Brady's behind me, by the way. Absolute madman. What do you do off the field? Are you a gamer? You chill? You write? You read?
I kind of just chill. I like watching movies.
Which movies? You were like a comic book guy, like Avengers and things like that?
Oh, yeah. I love Avengers. I love all sorts of movies. Except horror movies. I don't like horror movies.
Yeah, why would you? Yeah. Like, I don't want to be scared to death to go to bed tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know why you do that to yourself. Like, I'm going to go watch, like, The Conjuring and then go to bed. That's not right.
Yeah, you're not going to go to bed, by the way. You're going to lay there and just be scared to fucking death. The Blair Witch Project came out when I was in high school, Tristan, and I refused to see it. Everybody else saw it. And I had people scared to go and turn the lights off at their house. I go to a friend's house. They're like, I keep the lights on all night or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, did you see Blair Witch Project? I'm like, no. Like, this is what you all are doing. It's a madman. I appreciate that. Ty has a question for you, Tristan.
Tristan, I am also an Iowa grad, so first and foremost, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Yep,
yes,
go
sir.
Hawks, baby. I know you're from Mount Vernon, Iowa. When you got to Tampa, was there much of like a culture shock, really? I mean, you've obviously, playing at Iowa, you've traveled around and been to a bunch of places, but was it pretty different when you moved down to Tampa and like that was actually home?
I think the biggest thing was, so like in Iowa, it's like, oh, something's 10 miles away. But yeah, it's a 10, 11 minute drive. Here, like something's 10 minutes or 10 miles away. It's like a 30-minute drive. So that kind of threw me off.
Yeah, Tampa too. There's a lot of fucking, isn't it? It just, you never.
That really threw me off because I'm used to just like, if some place is close, like you know how long of a drive it is. Now there's accidents all the time on the interstate. Like it's mayhem like down here. So I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. But other than that, like I was fine.
How about the weather? AQ always bitches about how hot it is and how
it's so hot.
Yeah, it's thick.
So hot.
Thick too, right? I mean, it's like a thick heat. Yeah.
Heavy air. It's rough.
You guys are doing great. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Tristan, are you an offensive lineman that's kind of have to like force feed yourself to keep the weight on, or are you somebody who just naturally are just a massive human being?
No, I can put on weight like it's like breathing. I've never really had to force feed myself or anything. It was always like kind of making sure I didn't get too heavy, especially in college. But yeah, no, I can eat and be all right. Yeah.
You're way too young for this. What do you think about whenever you retire? Are you going to lose 400 pounds or gain 400 pounds? That seems to be the move for offensive linemen. Have you even thought about that? Obviously, it's so far away from right now. But if you had to think.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I hope I go down, but it might be like up, then down.
Yeah. That's what I did, by the way. I gained like 50, 60 real quick, and then I was like, all right, fat ass, get off the TV there. That's the entire thing. Tristan, we know you have a busy day. We can't thank you enough for joining us. What's BA like coaching for? Or what's BA like playing for?
It's awesome playing for him. He's got so much energy, and he swears a lot, and it's awesome. But, he loves his guys, too. I know he cares about us. So it's great playing for him.
Jensen got the first taunting penalty of the NFL season. Was that a surprise to anybody in the locker room?
I don't think so. Was it surprised you?
No. We actually, as soon as it happened, like I think I almost said, like, of course it was Jensen. It should have. That's the way Jensen rolls.
He had to kick it off. He had to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, he's the man. I'm so proud of you, man. You're crushing it. Congrats on all the success. Keep it going. And good luck this weekend with the Rams.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hawkeye, Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah!
Yeah. He was thinking about his post-football life there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm going to probably.
He's like, oh, shit, I haven't thought about that.
He said, I gain weight by breathing, he said. Those are my favorite type of offensive linemen because there's other offensive linemen who literally, like you said, have to force feed themselves to keep weight on. And then there's guys like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, I need to lose some weight, actually. It's crazy. He has been so good, so dominant, so early. Quentin Nelson, him, two very young guys that have stepped into man jobs. Like playing against grown-ass men and have done nothing but great things. Hey, it's one Kirk's dogs, huh?
That's right. Insanely athletic.
Yes.
Insanely athletic.
I wanted to talk to him about, like, he obviously started in another position, right? Had to have. I assume they had him, like, whenever he was a kid. At
tight end or something.
Some other position.
Was he the one jumping out of the swimming pool?
Yes.
Freak.
freak. This guy's a freak show. That's why I asked him, like, I don't know if that was accurate what I said about Joe Thomas, by the way, but I don't think anybody's corrected me yet.
No.
I think that was the thing about Joe Thomas is he was able to get to his spot every single time and was just so patient, and then boom, just locked him up. And he's like widely regarded as greatest tackle in the history of the game or whatever. And then there's other people that, hey, I need to hit somebody first. And there's like so many different styles of blocking humans and moving other humans. With how athletic and explosive he is, I wondered.
I think he came in as a lineman because I remember when he was a senior in high school, I believe he lost 30 pounds to wrestle at heavyweight, won a state championship, and then when he got to Iowa, I believe just like, he put it right back on.
Wrestling seems to be the greatest tie to offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
Leverage, and I think even those interior defensive linemen, hands, body on body, and the training is miserable. And to be an offensive lineman, normally there are times in your life you have to be miserable and enjoy it. Yep. Embrace the suck is what some offensive linemen have.
He also won the states in discus as well and was an Army All-American, so he was
freak.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And now he's Super Bowl champion after his first season, and it seems like he's only going to continue to grow and dominate. Cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to, the time, 145 is not when we can have somebody on.
Can't do it.
And I think we learned that today.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to talk to him so bad because we are fans and we've heard great things, but there's no time to get into anything.
Not really. No.
Had to talk Kirk's dogs, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Ian Rapoport's in the third hour. Hopefully the show will get better. We'll see you then. Hard work throughout my entire life, whether it was driving me to practice, to go to work, the coaches that invested hours in me, everything I have done to get to this point. I got a whole town, a community, a family, a tribe of people watching me potentially live out my dreams that we all thought was going to happen. And when I get to Rock, I get a chance to carry 8 motherfuckers that are playing for a team that is in the city that I went to college in. I carry 8 people, have the biggest moment in my football career, maybe make a team, if not with the coach somewhere else. Hey, that guy's got juice, let's do it. Change the entire direction in the course of my family's life. I can't be excited though.
No.
Don't even think about it.
Fucking dare.
Are you kidding me? All that just happened and everything I just said there and more is potentially happening in that one play? Don't even fucking think it. Get your fucking ass back in the huddle. You know Barry Sanders? Hey, Barry Sanders, he'd score a touchdown and he would just hand it to the ref and then he was gone. Why don't I? Well, Barry Sanders also won the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
It was also like the all-time leading scorer in this whole thing. Barry Sanders was unbelievable, worked his ass off. Let's not get crazy. And Barry Sanders had the ability to act like he had been there before because Barry Sanders, by the way, had fucking been there before. And maybe Barry Sanders, the way he goes about business isn't how everybody goes about business. Maybe there's a lot of different stories, a lot of different situations, a lot of different life events that lead to somebody acting differently than somebody that just acted, almost robotic while being one of the most exciting and electric players in the history. Got nothing but love for Barry Sanders. Let's not get crazy. But there's a lot of people tweeting, act like you've been there before. It's like, you think this motherfucker's been there before? This dude just carried 8 people and maybe changed the entire life. He can't be excited. Aren't we a game of emotion? Aren't we a game of excitement? Why is this a fucking penalty? Hey, Goodell! Hey, eating your M&Ms, sitting on the chair, being cool. You became my commissioner. You weren't my commissioner when, hey, you dance, you're fucking out. Your sock slide, you're fucking out. We don't want anything. We want robots, no emotion. Everybody hated you then, Raj. All right, everybody hated you. And nobody understood why you're trying to take the fun out of the game. You're doing it because you want to be able to just pluck and play. You didn't want to have players be brand names because then you could replace them easily. Okay, I understand the business side of it, but we all agreed, the tribe has spoken, that the game's better when people are excited. Some things are too much. All right, some things are way too much. There were some dances that happened that looked a little bit more like basketball, where we're all like, there's no way that can happen with a full line dance. We get it. There was some. But it added to the game. The excitement added to everything. Now taking away this and making it a point of emphasis. And I'm not saying that there should be if something egregious happens, they should penalize them. Yes, please. It's not for the good of our game, not for the good of the league, not good for fans, not good for anybody. I understand that's going to happen. But a point of emphasis means, hey, we're cracking down on this because we don't want it to happen anymore. And why are we targeting that as opposed to targeting something else I'll never understand? My commissioner, Roger Goodell, is going to get to the bottom of this if Sam Acho doesn't do it first.
Yeah. Smarter than you, I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm a better person than you are.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I fed the birds this morning, so I'm a better person than you are.
Yeah, but you don't care about, the ozone as much as I do. So do you even like to breathe? That means you don't even like the birds. You don't want the birds to be able to breathe or fly because you want the ozone to be ruined because you're a fucking asshole.
Is that right? Then how come I rollerblade to the supermarket every Saturday and Sunday?
Oh, did that make you feel good, rollerblading, flattening the earth a little bit closer to the center so it can get hotter so then the heat comes from the ozone because you're pressing down the earth with your little rollerblades?
Well, yeah, but
I'm a better person than you are.
No, because on Wednesdays I'm planting trees and I'm trying to bring the earth back to what it was.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you're cutting up other trees' roots, though. What a fucking
right.
asshole. You Why can't you just let earth be the way it's be? You got to take your shovel and dig into it? Wow. I'm a better person than you are.
I know.
Dude.
I make my own manure. I make my own soil. I'm not chopping up any other roots.
So you don't like cows. You don't like cows pooping.
I hate farmers.
Unbelievable. You hate farmers. Oh, you don't like the head of cows. You don't like burgers?
Then how come I'm in the Farmers Association of America and I'm going to help?
Oh, you're a lifetime member of the FFA. Hey, that's right. That's what I make. I'm a better person than you are.
No, you're not. I'm a better person than you are.
That's politics, baby. That's what we just did right there. Let's get to the phones. Once again, I think we batted 1,000.
Boom.
In politics with what we just did right there.
How about that?
I do believe after that argument, though, people would say I was a better person than fucking you are, dude.
No, because everyone I just read on Twitter was like, oh my God, this guy rollerblades. I need to start doing that too.
No, that's because you mute all the other people that are actually on my side and they're telling you you're not the right person.
No, I refuse to mute anybody because I love everybody.
Oh, you like freedom of speech. How come then you're not going to
listen to everybody? Wow. I do love freedom of speech. That's why I'm not muting anybody.
I'm better than you are.
No, I'm better than you are.
Everybody's saying it.
No.
Yeah, everybody's saying I'm a better person than you are.
I heard it.
We just did, by the way, still batting 1,000 on politics. I feel so good about it. We even got into the reaction to the punditry.
Yes.
We're batting a fucking 1,000 out there.
Every side.
The people say we're not well-rounded. We don't have depth. Did you hear what we just fucking did? Come on. Wow. Let's go to the phones, man.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, Hour 3 on this beautiful Thursday, September 23rd, 2021 years after zero. This is going to be our best hour yet.
Hell yeah!
Shout out to Tristan Wirfs for joining us at the end of the hour there. Not enough time to really dive in and talk to him. Seems like a great guy, though, an incredible football player. Thanks for taking, time out of his day to chit-chat with us as he prepares for the Los Angeles Rams this weekend. And the Los Angeles Rams mean you're preparing for Aaron Donald this year. And this is something that I seen J.J. Watt do whenever he was mic'd up. J.J. Watt would bounce around on the offensive lineman. He would start like, let's say the guard, and then maybe he would move out to the left tackle, and then he would go right over the center, and then he would go over. And he was mic'd up this one time, and it was really kind of cool to watch that literally he'd go to the sideline and he would tell his coach, hey, 74 is who I'm going to go against. And then he was just lined up over 74 the rest of the game. So he was like searching for who his best matchup was. And then as soon as he found it, they're like, there you go. Aaron Donald will bounce around in this thing. He'll be in the middle. He'll be outside. He'll be blind side. He'll be front side. He'll be in the. I mean, he'll be lined up directly over the center. I mean, he will move around, and I think he settles in where he feels comfortable. So it's almost like when Aaron Donald shows up in the first quarter. If you're an offensive lineman, you're like, all right, I got to do well right now, or this is going to be 4 quarters of this fucking thing. Or Tristan on the other side, like, all right, I got to do well right now. If I do well right now, I got somebody else the rest of the game. If I don't do well right now, I got Aaron Donald for 3.5 quarters. Like, this is going to happen. What a mental fuck that is, I bet. Especially because what he said there with they're trying to do 5 individual matchups. Whenever you can do that, obviously you got 6 in the back there. So you can drop into coverage. So you don't have to load the box if the 5 individuals get enough pressure. You don't have to blitz, just like the Steelers didn't have to blitz, and you still get pressure and you're able to sit back in coverage there. That's just that Rams defense. Okay, now they have Raheem, I think, running it. Morris running it out of Atlanta last year. Brandon Staley ran that defense last year before becoming the head coach of the Chargers. That team is filled with weapons. And then you got Jalen ball hawking around. I mean, that's a lot. Is Tom Brady in that offense going to be able to deal with the Los Angeles Rams defense enough to keep up with what I think the Rams offense might potentially do to this Buccaneers secondary? Okay, Stafford is going to have success throwing the ball against whoever, whenever, however. That's just what's going to happen. Stafford can make every single throw. He throws it into buckets that he always has. He was just in a wasteland that is Detroit, not the people. I'm just talking about the team not being on national television.
Amen.
It's hard for me not to just pick the Rams here, okay, because they're at home as well. I believe they're favored by 3 at this point, or no?
+1.5 Rams.
See,
dogs.
It opened.
Rams.
They were favorites. The Rams were -1.5 favorites.
Yeah, and then it flipped all the way over. It changed 3 points or whatever. That's what in my head was thinking. So I apologize for fucking that up. But it's hard not to take the Rams with points at home.
Yeah, 100%.
With Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. But is that too easy? Like, why is that happening? Why does that seem too easy? Listen, I'm a hardest gambler. I'm as hard as I ever been.
Yeah.
All right, I'm hitting overs, obviously. I'm hitting 11.5 point spreads. Okay. I mean, there's a lot going on with me right now. I bet soccer. Last night I did lose in soccer.
What?
Yeah. Well, Gumpy told me in the League's Cup final, okay, the MLS and the Liga Mexico, I believe.
Liga MX.
Liga MX.
Yeah.
Mexico.
Leon was playing the Seattle Sounders last night for the final of that. And it's like the Champions League or whatever for over here. And we lost. I bet everything on the Seattle Sounders.
Oh, no.
They almost came back.
Yeah, it was 0-0 for a long time in that game.
It was 3-1. Then the Sounders made it 3-2. And then a guy missed kind of a sitter to tie it in injury time.
A Sounder?
Sounder.
Good God.
So then that goes to overtime, then it goes to shootout. And we all know Seattle is going to win that thing.
Always.
It was in Vegas.
Oh, okay. I did not watch
Seattle and Vegas.
Okay.
That league's going to be huge, though. They're doing a 47-team tournament in the summer in 2023.
I want to let you know, I found this game last night, and I asked Gumpy how I hadn't heard of it. And then I asked Gumpy immediately for a live bet. And then we watched the game for a little bit, and I just went and live bet on Seattle Sounders because, hey, representing the MLS, which is my favorite league.
Yeah.
Have to.
So they lose, obviously, that whole thing. I watched it with 0-0. When did I watch? That was first half, I guess?
Yeah, it really heated up in the second half.
Yeah, there's no way I was going to stick
What time
around.
did that game end?
Like 1 in the morning.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I wasn't going to watch it.
I didn't even know we played the MX League.
No.
Well,
I
this is the
didn't know-
League's Cup final. It
Yeah,
started
League
with
Cup
just
final.
8 teams.
I thought that was motocross.
Me too. Have we always done this?
Yeah, well, I think it's new.
I think it is new.
I think it's new.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the Concave is trying to shake some shit up now that we got the number 1 team in the world, the United States of America.
Right.
True.
So they're trying to add some things. So now the MLS, and I wonder, and this is, I mean, obviously they won't do it, just like they wouldn't put up the Euros championship against us.
Yeah.
Just like they wouldn't put up the trophy against us. And neither would the Gold Cup down there or whatever the hell it is. Is that what they are down there?
Gold Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we won that.
Yeah, we won that one too.
No, what's the other one? What's the Copa?
Copa America.
Yeah, Copa Cup. And they wouldn't put their trophy up against us either.
No.
So now I think the MLS and the American Soccer Association, the ASA, also they have to create these leagues so that we're a little bit more legit. So I think the League's Cup is what it's called, is only going to grow and grow. And then hopefully one day the Euros won't be as fucking scared of us and they'll put their trophy up against whoever the Champions League champion is against the League's Cup champion.
Well said.
That's never going to happen though, because they are scared.
Cowards.
Because we are back.
I don't think we're ever here, but we have arrived.
Yes. We're at the dance now.
Well said.
We are here, bitches. And with that being said, that is the only bet that I've lost in the last 4 days.
No big deal.
That one doesn't really count.
Is that good?
I mean, you tell me. I was watching it. I felt like I had pretty good intel on it. I mean, I learned the league existed as I was watching the game, and Gumpy did give me a little heads up and said, oh, shit, this is happening. Gumpy didn't even know this game was happening.
Okay, that's how you know.
I did not.
Gumpy did not even know this game was happening. So I almost introduced Gumpy to a style of soccer that maybe he was missing out on. And they had a final. Did they have any other games? You know, they had Leagues Cup final. Was there any other games? Because we did not know this thing was existing. I feel like we could have been making money off of this with our soccer sharp friend Gumpy here.
It was an 8-team tournament.
Did that tournament happen? Or
This is the first game I've seen of it.
Anyways, I lost that bet. But I had been hot. I had hit three other soccer bets that Gumpy told me to hit. Obviously, the over, the Packers, and a couple Aaron Jones, 2-time touchdown scorer. He actually doubled that. So I feel very good. Tonight, my parlay hits tonight. This parlay hits tonight. Packers over actually 41.5 points they gave me. It wasn't 43 total points. On the app, it actually says 41.5 points.
Nice.
When I sent it into them, it was 43 points. That came down 1.5 points. If there's 42 points scored tonight, then we need to know that every bet I pick is going to win.
Yep.
That means we are on an absolute heater. This one is going to hit. It's a risk-free bet. You have to opt in. $10. If we lose, you'll get your money back from the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're in a state where it is allowed and available, get in on this. You have to opt in. Carolina Panthers -7.5 in Houston. Christian McCaffrey, anytime first half touchdown score. Christian McCaffrey, anytime second half touchdown score. That's like plus 780 or something like that. $10 bet that will be refunded if you opt in for a risk-free. Get $78. I feel good about it.
You should. Why wouldn't you do that?
Joining us now is a man who has his poor connection.
Of course.
That was a professional lead-in.
It was.
Yeah. I was going, a man who could potentially tell us some information on tonight's game that maybe could prove us right or wrong. You know, a man who connects everywhere and is a representation of not only just the league, but NFL Network, NFL.com. He puts on a tie. He goes live from his house all day, every day on the league's network. A guy who shakes hands with the people that make the decisions and know what's going on with every single team. Joining us right now for a wrap-up with his friends, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rapoport.
What's up?
You got no internet over there? Everything all right?
I don't know. I mean, how many other calls dropped and what kind of news would I have broken today if my internet actually worked? That's a great question that I'm going to ask myself right now.
Yeah, you probably missed a couple things, and you do that every time you join us. Todd Haley called us from an island with a parrot, was completely clear.
Yeah.
You and AJ Hawk, for whatever reason, can't get on the fucking show. I don't understand what the deal is.
I thought that Haley stuff was pretty good, I thought, actually.
Did you know him personally? I've never met him personally before. I've only seen him and heard legendary stories about him. So then when I got a chance to chat with him, I was very excited.
Yeah, no, I knew him. I wouldn't say we were best friends. He was definitely he was unfortunately not leaking me privileged, sensitive information, which he should have been but was not. But one of the world's ultimate truth tellers. So always got himself in trouble by just saying things that were true, as we saw on Hard Knocks with the Browns a couple of years back, and a very, very good coach that is still not in the league, and I'm sort of honestly not really sure why that's the case.
Well, he's just beating the dog shit out of some high school football in Florida with one coverage defenses. That's basically what he said. They're running one coverage down here. He's just running these things. He was a coordinator, not even a head coach at a high school. He was a coordinator. I don't want to deal with anything. I don't want to deal with the parents. I don't want to deal with the fans. I just want to draw up some offenses.
When they call plays.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly, which is awesome. I think he's enjoying his life. He seems to be happy, but he is a football guy. Let's talk to you, Ian. Tonight, any big storylines we need to know? We know Tyrod's out, obviously. There's a lot of situations potentially regarding that entire team. This feels like a Carolina night to say hello to the world on Thursday Night Football. This is our new team. Is there anything that you know, inside injuries or anything that we should think about?
I would say a couple of things. First of all, you're right. Tyrod already out. We know probably 3 to 4 weeks, so you're going to see a little extended look at Davis Mills with the draft pick. If you remember, everybody lost their absolute mind when Nick Caserio made his first pick at quarterback, because it's what does it mean for Deshaun Watson? Now Watson obviously not playing, Davis Mills starting. Probably a decent investment, I would say there. I get a similar feel as you do as far as the Panthers introducing themselves to everyone. Darnold is playing well. I know he's got to stay healthy. That's the most important thing. But he definitely is playing well. And I think this defense, which is really good and really fast, is also going to introduce themselves. So the only caveat I would have is the Texans are not as bad as everybody thinks. They actually have a really sound middle class. They spend a lot of money compared to most people on like just regular players because they didn't have any base at all. So they basically built a foundation. So if Davis Mills doesn't turn it over like a lot of times, I think they're going to be in this thing. That would be my only caveat. Like, I think they are probably a little better than people give them credit for.
I agree, and they have been a nice surprise. Very bummed for Tyrod Taylor, obviously ripping his hamstring, it seems like, because that seems to be just another event in a series of events to that guy that just can't get lucky or, I mean, I think he has a very positive attitude there, but I think Coach Dave would have liked to have Tyrod Taylor. Now they got Davis Mills going into tonight. And on the other side, Christian McCaffrey, he is explosive, electrifying, awesome to watch. Obviously coming off an injury last year, and who knows how Teddy would be if he had Christian McCaffrey, but is there any fear at all that guy is just staring down some sort of injury? He is just like 2 sprains, Carson Wentz. He's a maniac. It's awesome to watch. He flies around out there, though. Christian is unbelievable at football.
And he trains like that, too. So it seems like when he's not on the field, he gets his body ready for everything he's going to deal with on the field. Seems to be one of these guys that's absolutely maniacal about getting his body right in preparation just so he can do this. I asked about this last week first week. I think he had 30 touches, a lot of touches. And I was like, well, are you guys going to kind of pull back a little bit, maybe make sure he doesn't get injured? And it was like, yeah, we would like to do that. We thought about that, but he wants to be on the field every single play. And it feels like the point, the place where the Carolina Panthers are in right now is McCaffrey wants to be on the field. He's healthy, so, what are you going to do? Just play him until you can't. I mean, I think last year really pissed him off, honestly, and I think he doesn't want to come off the field. And so, it feels like we are going to get a ton of Christian McCaffrey touches. Just maybe they protect him by letting him get out of bounds some touches, more like that than kind of limit him.
That was like that Dak Prescott situation in Hard Knocks where he was like, I missed enough time last year. You don't need to be arresting me. I already missed enough time. Those guys, especially if you're a game changer like Christian every single time he touches the ball could be a home run. Every single time. It's unbelievable to watch. I think we should all enjoy it because I don't know how a human body can take the explosive hits, 30 touches, the explosive hits that are ending all of those things are huge. He's an absolute madman. Let's go to another psychopath on the football field. 2 sprains. Carson Wentz. He is obviously rehabbing 2 sprained ankles. I don't even think he knew that he sprained his left ankle during the game. I think you've probably found that out the next day. Is he going to play this weekend? And if it's not him, is Brett Hundley going to be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts?
It seems like, first of all, for Wentz, the high ankle on one, low ankle on another. So even if it was just one, it would still be tough to play.
You're not a doctor, obviously, but you've been in this game. Can you explain the differences there and which one's more detrimental and which one isn't for those that might not know?
Yeah. So high ankle is worse because basically low ankle sprains are the ones that look really nasty and everyone's like, oh, God, this guy's done for the season. Then, he's taping up his ankle and going out in the second half. I am, as you know, I am not an NFL player, but I also, 2 days before I was going to throw out the first pitch of the Mets game, badly sprained my ankle and went down in a heap. And I think my friends who I was playing with thought that I was either dead or going to have to be on a wheelchair out to the first pitch. And then I iced like crazy, and 2 days later it was fine.
Oh, no big deal. Are you Wolverine,
yeah.
Dude? Are you Wolverine? You heal quickly and with.
Look, obviously.
With Pelissero blowing his back out, and then you rolling your ankle. I mean, what is going? Are you guys okay? Are you guys the most fragile bunch in the entire Insider game?
Oh. I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's just a string of bad luck. I'm not injury prone. Sometimes things just kind of happen randomly. It's is it my fault or is this just society? I don't.
Is it society? Oh, this guy. It's Carson's fault, by the way, for his injuries. I think he would understand that. But high ankle, much more severe than low ankle.
High ankle, more severe. Look, he's saying all the right things. He's not at practice today. That's not a good sign. He's going to try to practice tomorrow. I don't get the sense there's a lot of optimism for him playing, but he is going to try. But, yeah, I mean, as my good friend, my gimpy good friend, Tom Pelissero alluded to this morning, there's a decent chance it's Brett Hundley. And obviously not a great thing for Jacob Eason, obviously. But Hundley has starting experience. He's there for a reason and probably makes the offensive line a little better because he can move.
All right, let's go, Hundley.
Here we go, Brett.
Here we go, Brett.
Let's go, pal.
I mean, there was a report just a couple days ago that Matthew Stafford was actually looking at houses in Indianapolis. Is there only more and more stories that are going to come out of that entire situation? And did you think that was bullshit or not? Like, because if we could have had Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford, I just find that very fascinating staring down a season with Brett Hundley starting right now. Not that, no offense, Brett Hundley, please.
Right. No, I'm sure Brett Hundley feels very loved right now. I do know that Indy was on the short list of places Stafford would have gone to, right? So it was, if I remember correctly, it was the Niners, the Rams, and the Colts. I believe that is right. So yeah, there would have been a place he would have accepted a trade to. Now, I would also say this, not saying anything about Kelly Stafford at all, but there's a lot of wives, including mine, who spend a lot of time looking at houses in random cities for no reason at all. So that doesn't mean anything. Like, I spent a week in Nashville for the draft, and my wife was looking up houses in Nashville because of how great I made it sound. So that doesn't mean anything in itself. But yes, Indy was a potential place for Matthew Stafford.
Nashville is awesome, and everywhere I go, I Zillow. I'm a Zillower everywhere I
do
go.
it too, yeah.
Oh, I love it. All right, what's the most expensive house around here?
Yeah.
All right, let me go see this one right here. And then you can even walk out of your hotel sometimes and just walk down the street and stand right in front of the house and take like a virtual tour of the place and be like, oh, this place is pretty fucking sweet.
nice.
Let me put a heart on this thing. If I ever get $1 billion, I'd like this.
Or the other thing is, if you end up getting someone's address, like someone sends you something like a card, like hop right on Zillow. Let's see what they're dealing with over here. Let's see what their house looks like.
Oh, you scumbag! It's obviously
people don't do that.
Oh, you're like, I would like to see what socioeconomic status this person has before I decide. You coastal elitist or something special. Don't come to Nashville, Ian. Don't come over here to America, pal.
This is hurtful.
But
But other
you
people
wouldn't
do this, right? I'm
spend
not the only
ink.
weirdo.
You wouldn't spend ink on the person that you would send it back to if their house is under 10,000 square feet. What do you got going on over there, Ian? Jesus.
Not quite that, sadly. We got a big basement though. So.
Yeah, I saw your wife beat the hell out of you in tennis too. What's that all about? What's going on, dude? Yeah,
That is we actually played on a team, so collectively we both lost. So that was great.
Oh, but you guys are at least went down together. You know, those that lose together will booze together, will stay together, and that's the Rapoport family. That's a beautiful thing. Did you get a chance to watch that inside? I feel like I learned a lot about Schefter in what was it? Sports.
Yeah, Real Sports.
Real Sports. Did you get a chance to see it? And is that your life? Like all day, every day? Do you have two phones? And is it just like you never know what's going to happen? And is it the most stressful thing of all time? Is your job and obviously there's much harder jobs out there. I would not say that, but is your job just like incredibly stressful? Because if you miss a text or a call, you could potentially just be losing in your entire profession there?
I did see it. I think it was a couple years back. I think they kind of redid it for this week. I saw it. I thought they did a really nice job. It is a little bit like that. Now, as far as like the stress, like I'm stressed a lot. I've done a good job of finding like small pockets of normal time so I can be not totally stressed. So I've sort of found my peace with being able to do this job for a long time, which I think is good. But I mean, that is one of the problems, which is like, God forbid I break a couple big stories in a day and it feels great. And I'm just thinking how awesome I am. Karma comes back, and then like someone could drop something on your head at any minute. Like that's the problem. Now I've done better at like not wanting to throw myself into a wall if I get beat, because it's been 10 years and I've seen whatever.
That's good.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's good evolution.
But it is a little bit stressful. Yes.
I could fathom. Yeah, watching that thing, I was getting anxious watching him. I was getting anxious watching. What'd you say?
I got one phone though, not two phones.
Do you see what the competition's doing in those real sports type things, and do you think maybe I need three phones? You know what I mean?
Well, with AirPods, I can talk on the phone and tweet and text at the same time, so I don't need two phones.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Smart.
All right, smart. You maybe get a bat phone. Let's go around to some other stories that came out in this entire thing. John Elway allegedly was given 20% stake into the Broncos in 1998 whenever he retired. It would have been worth like $35 million. I think he had to buy it. Now it's like $753 million. Is there any validity to that? And why and how did John Elway say no to owning 20% of an NFL team whenever he's like heralded as an incredible businessman, and now allegedly looking to get back into the ownership of the Broncos, who I guess are selling? Is that happening right now, right in front of all of our eyes? And how does John Elway say no to that, you think? Is there more to that story?
So here's what I understand from the Broncos now. At the end of the year, they're going to have an announcement on where to go. So it's basically going to be like, we're going to pass the team on to a family member, which would be Brittany Bowen, and there would have to be complete agreement on that, or the team is going to be up for sale. So right now, what you're probably seeing is people getting ready in case they sell. It will be extremely valuable. It is one of the marquee franchises. It will probably break all of the records as far as purchase price. But I don't sense anything's happening now. It's really going to be like, there's a court thing going on now. We'll figure all this out by the end of the year. And then it'll be like, at some point, some announcement saying, all right, the Broncos are going to be sold or are staying in the family. As far as the Elway stake, I believe that is not allowed. I think that's why it had to not happen, because I'm not 100% sure, but I believe current players are not allowed to have ownership stake in the team.
It was immediately upon his retirement, though, I think, right? Because this was, I think that's
in 98. He retired in 98.
Yeah.
98, he retired. I don't know enough to give a good answer on this one, unfortunately.
Okay, well, we'll expect you to learn more about it before next week.
I will.
Okay,
I
I
will.
mean, these are the types of things that you are our guy for. And what's up with Tom becoming full propaganda Pelissero over there?
Yeah.
What's this all about with this taunting rule? It feels like he feels as if he has to stick up for the NFL with this taunting rule. And we understand that he gets the memo. He reads through it, and then he's able to put it back out there. But why is Tom all about like, hey, yeah, this is all about them? He seems like he's pitching against, the emotion in the game. What's this all about? Is he being told? Is he being told to do this, or is it just a natural Tom Pelissero?
He is a great person at getting memos. That's one of the best things he does. I think the problem is
he's a Neuralink, dude.
Yeah.
He has it in there. We don't know how he is able to read
could be it.
A 200-page memo, and then he's able to say, here's the important shit before everybody else. It's an incredible talent, but now he's like, it feels like they put into one of those memos like, Tom, you're on our side.
I think the problem is that the rule has more supporters than we all realize. Like, there's a lot of coaches in the NFL. Belichick spoke out sort of in favor of the taunting rule. Tomlin did, I believe. I mean, there's a lot of them who just want to have no taunting, want to have celebration into the ether with no taunting. And I don't get the sense the league office is changing the current. It's not a new rule. It's just sort of a emphasis. And that's the problem is, like, I'm kind of hearing the same stuff, which is like outcry on social media and very smart people like you, who, by the way, you dominated the Manning cast thing. I thought that was awesome.
I was lucky. I mean, it was a blowout in the fourth quarter. I mean, perfect time to bring in the stooge. You know what I mean? I mean, and I'm sweating out a bet. I mean, it was a perfect recipe. I was lucky to be there. Thank you for your love. But go ahead.
Yeah, I will say this, and I'll continue what I'm saying about the taunting rule in a second, but I was proud to see you there. I really was. I felt pride in watching. I was like, all right, there we go.
Oh, that's very nice of you, man. And we take a lot of pride in seeing, like, whenever you get on TV immediately after you leave this show and you break some huge news.
Yeah, massive.
It's awesome. We're like, hey, we just talked to that guy. You know what I mean? So we appreciate you, Ian. Know that we appreciate you, the hell out of you. But the taunting penalty, you're saying that a lot of people that aren't maybe as loud about it are supporting it because they think inevitably it's going to be able to take some things that maybe are a little negative and maybe a bad image for kids out of the game while still keeping the emotion. And I think I've always said, Ian, like, the point of emphasis is my issue with it. We know it's a rule, but if they would have just told all the coaches, like, hey, tell your players this can't be happening anymore, because now you're putting it in the hands of refs who are already, some of them, terrible at their jobs. Now you're adding this on top of it. That's how I'm just very anti that. You know what I mean? Like,
I just think we've done this, not last year, but there's always rules when we get started. I remember when there was, like, they started to call a lot of defensive holding penalties and everybody went ballistic.
Yeah.
And was that 2 years ago? And then everyone kind of adapted. I think you're going to see everyone adapt. I don't think it'll be as big a deal as everybody thinks, because eventually players are just going to start directing their jubilation elsewhere. It is just an unbelievably fine line between we love celebrations, let's award a celebration of the week, and don't celebrate at someone. So
yeah, and that happened back in the day, because whenever they were trying to change over the game, right, with the hitting and the stuff like that, the massive hits that would be hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines right now were the things that would lead into commercial break and lead out of commercial break for every game. Like moments ago, this guy just literally lost his brain function for that used to be the promotion of it, and then now it's kind of changing, and I understand what they're trying to do. I just don't like that we're putting more on the refs' plate. That just seems to be a bad idea, especially with some of these refs that look like they're scared to death to be on the field. Go ahead, Ty Schmidt.
Rap sheet. After Tua got knocked out of the game on Sunday, he was, getting carted off, and then we hear from the Dolphins that it's not serious, and then all of a sudden he gets another test, and he does have broken ribs, and now he's week to week. What more are you hearing about that? Like, how was there so much miscommunication there, and ultimately, what does this mean for Tua going forward?
Good question. It was so Sunday night, and I would say Monday morning, it was basically bruised ribs, and they did X-rays. And X-rays were negative, and it was bruised ribs. But he was in so much pain that they were like, they would, you would normally do more tests anyway, MRI, CT scan, but it just seemed like something wasn't right. So they did additional testing and found some fractures. Now, if they had to do the MRI or the CT scan to find them, probably some hairline fractures or tiny fractures, but still very painful. And, multiple ribs was what I was told. So now he's out at least this week, potentially next week. So 7 to 21 days was probably the timeline. So, there's a chance he misses 2 games. Now it's going to be really interesting because Jacoby Brissett plays and Tua's been kind of up and down. And what if the Dolphins win? And just a little more intrigue to that quarterback situation.
I found it very fascinating that the first report said there was nothing serious. It was actually a headline on Monday Night Football, like Tua Tagovailoa injury, nothing serious. And then it's like, well, why did he get carted off then? If it's not, it almost I think made a lot of players and coaches probably be like, if there's nothing serious, that should not have happened yesterday, and Dolphins fans should be scared. So I think it was the handling of the news breaking that was almost our big reaction,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And if nothing was wrong and he got carted off and was in debilitating pain, I think everybody would have been like, football players, they would have been like, what's happening here? So the fact that it was, actually multiple broken ribs probably justifies to his reaction at the very least.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it's good news when somebody gets hurt. It's never good news that he's hurt, but I think as an overall reputation, I think it was good that there was actual fractures there. And I saw you looking at your phone. I did the same thing while Ty was doing that. Lamar Jackson missed practice. It just got reported. Probably our fault that you didn't get to report this, and we apologize and we appreciate you for your time. Go ahead.
I would say it's fine. One of the local reporters was there who tweeted that he's not at practice. I believe it is a non-COVID related illness, stomach issues perhaps.
Sean McVay.
Oh, so it's not like his hip, because people were saying it's potentially his hip. His hip was sore from doing that front flip, because you got to flat back that. Hey, you got to flat back that thing. You know what I mean? You need to smack the mat.
No, flat back hurts more, doesn't it?
No.
Spread it out.
No, you flat back that thing. Boom, pow. Boom, pow. Because it takes.
This is why I don't do any flipping.
Yeah, and if you got in a ring, you know what I mean, you won't be able to flat back because you lose your consciousness so quick with this big right hand. So you're saying this is an illness that is not COVID? This is the same type of thing that McVay had the same week, huh?
No, I think it is more like, I think he's going to be fine, honestly. I haven't sensed anything serious, and I think it's more just a quick little illness rather than something concerning.
Poop again.
I was about to say, the last time he had to poop, he came back and made one of the most electrifying plays in the history of primetime football.
Whoa. Yeah. That was officially referred to as muscle cramps, I believe.
Yeah, I understand he had to get the IV, and the IV came from him cramping in his stomach trying to push the poop out.
Pooped his girdle,
Yeah, he pooped his... Oh, yeah. Lamar is awesome, by the way. He is absolutely...
That was one of the great social media moments. Mm. Just that, the intrigue with, he's going into the locker room, what does it look like?
By the way, because the way he was running, very much cramped. Can't eat. I have to have straight legs here. But also, if he was trying to tighten the old butthole up, that is the same type of run. So, a lot of things I do. And then he comes back, wins the game. It was amazing. Last question here. Go ahead, Tone.
Ian, what the hell is going on with all the groins in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, this is an annoying week in Pittsburgh. You got groins, you got pecs, left pecs for Roethlisberger. So the fact that TJ Watt practiced this yesterday is a really good sign.
Good sign.
I'm not saying he's definitely going to play because it's hard to play a week after a groin injury, but that's pretty minor. I think the Ben one is not concerning, but he's 39. Every Ben injury, I mean, it's a non-throwing pec, so like he's probably okay. But I don't know, like it's just every little thing. And I also wonder, and I know you watch the Steelers offense closely, like could this have been bothering him last week? Because he's looked kind of, I don't know, not quite himself the first 2 weeks. So maybe this is something that was bothering him before.
Whoa.
But I think overall they're going to be okay.
A lingering tit for Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
I did not know that. That was not broken anywhere. But you're right. I think the new offense in the second half, I think it started to look a little bit better, and maybe they'll continue to grow here. But a new offense for Ben, hopefully his pectoral is okay. Yeah. Groin's going to get tightened up over there. Connor, go ahead, pal.
Yeah, Rapshi, which week of the season this year will we see Jamie Collins in a New England Patriots uniform?
I mean, Collins will either be traded or potentially cut by the Lions. And, the Patriots have done this before where they got Collins on cheap for his rookie deal, let someone else pay him, then got him back on a cheap deal, and then he went to Detroit, let someone else pay him. So if you told me the Patriots would get him back again on a cheap deal to play well, I mean, that sounds like a very Patriots thing to me. So, I don't think you're crazy at all. It is definitely one of the places to watch, I would say.
Yeah, Jamie is obviously a freak athlete. I was holding for an extra point, I believe, when as soon as I said, "Hey, set," I saw him jump over the entire line like a wild animal. Like he jumped over like a wildebeest almost, flying over. And then I saw him, and oh my God, what are we doing? And then the rumor was that the reason why he left the Patriots to go to the Browns or whatever is because one day he asked about a potential contract. Is that a real story or not? Allegedly, he said like, "Hey, we getting paid around here or something," and then he was traded to Cleveland the next day. Did that actually happen? Do you know? Can we get a?
I don't think that. I mean, I don't think that happened. I know that
was awesome,
they weren't thrilled about investing in him, so I think it became clear that he wasn't going to get the extension to New England. But I think, most of that stuff was probably handled through his agent rather than him to Belichick, like, "Hey, bro, when you going to break me off?" I don't think that would happen.
All right, joining us for the last 15 minutes, missing like 3 or 4 scoops. We apologize. But it was an incredible segment learning about you and everything you do. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of The Canceled Show, Rap Sheet and Friends, Ian Rapoport. He's the man.
Yeah, the best.
I love the fact that he's spraining his ankle out there as an adult human. Tom Pelissero's blowing his back out on soccer games.
What's going on here?
I mean, the NFL insiders are they're also
too active.
Yeah. They're wild cards, dude. You don't know what they're going to do. Anytime you see an adult with a knee brace on or something, you just have to go up to, what the fuck? How'd
we get here?
Hey, I appreciate what you're doing, okay? And if you got this mowing the lawn and you just kind of fell down or whatever, like, I get it, but there's no reason that people should have full taped ankles in public as adults if you're not playing professional athletics. But I appreciate people getting after it. And there are people that go way too hard, in my eyes, way too long. You'll see adults at YMCA going real hard or whatever. It's like, hey, you are one off-balance move away from blowing out your entire leg. Do you know that? I don't think you even know that. And I respect and appreciate that. But whenever you're showing up with not just 2 sprains, but 2 braces on your knees at work, people are it's gonna be tough to take you serious.
You think Tom Segura's not wishing he would have never tried to dunk that basketball on an 8.5-foot hoop? Come on, shit, changed his life for 2 years.
Hey, people forget he made his first dunk.
He did. Yes.
That was unfortunately never seen.
Right. No.
Because what had happened with his treasonous left arm and his left leg just getting blown out.
Stepped on a landmine.
Yeah, that did appear to steal the show. He did accomplish a dunk before that, but you're right. There's an adult doing something. It's like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that?
Can't do it.
I saw a 62-year-old last night do some incredible shit.
Whoa, where?
I mean, it was unfucking believable. Whenever people chant like, "You still got it," at wrestling events, some of the times I think to myself, yins are enabling right now. Like yins need not to be doing this. A 62-year-old last night, almost like inspirational, like legitimately, like almost. There was a time Stinger got into the ring and he did a couple things, and then he was supposed to do a clothesline over the top rope. He was off balance, and it's those off balance moments with your old ass body that'll get you. And he was able to regain it and do it. It was remarkable. I was literally watching it like, how old is this fucking guy? I literally Googled how old he was 3 times. Sting the Singer was the first one, so you had to change it to the wrestler in the Google search. I couldn't have been the only one that was Googling that, though. It was amazing to 62 years old. That dude was flying around last night. It was inspirational. Made me think to myself, like, okay, so I'm not just going to be a sack of shit potatoes whenever I get older. Maybe there is a chance I could be a little bit athletic. Now, I can't touch my toes now, so I'm thinking it's probably going to be hard when I get to 40s or 50s, but that was awesome to see last night.
Thought it was 1997 again.
I honestly did. It did feel like it was.
So I whipped out a Scorpion Deathlock at one point too.
Dude, he did a splash. A full cross.
Stinger splash.
Flying. No, he also did Stinger splash into the corner there. And people were saying he wasn't getting as high as he used to. He's 62 years old.
Give him a break.
He's 62 years old.
How old was Sting the Singer?
I didn't even look because it was the first one that was offered up. And I was like, no, I need the wrestler.
He has sex for like 5-6 hours at a time.
He does.
Sting?
He's still doing it,
He's
too.
69.
Yeah. That's good.
He looks like he's 59. Did he come from the rafters?
No, he walked up. Damn. Just classic walk. He had some sick boots on, too. I mean,
His partner was left hanging. I saw.
Did he have the baseball bat?
Oh, Darby.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Did he have the baseball bat?
I didn't see any baseball bats. It did snow, though. And they were in Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Was he wearing a duster?
Really?
It's like his thing. It's like the winter is coming, I think, is like his kind of thing.
Oh.
It's like everything comes real dark and the lights, and then it starts snowing. It's a pretty cool little entrance. But nothing can compare to what the fuck he did when he was flying around for like 20 minutes. I'm like, who is this guy? What is this? What? I actually texted a couple of my friends who are also massive wrestling fans, and there was a lot of terrible allegations being said in those text messages. Like, oh, is he drinking from the fountain of youth? And then somebody else goes, oh, probably baby's blood. Gotta be. It was. That's what it was like, though. It was like, how is this human doing this? So much so that some people thought it was a different human with face paint on. Like,
really?
They put a mask on. It couldn't have been a 62. That's how good I'm telling you, it was insane. It was absurd. I fucking lost my mind like 3 times.
Was he wearing the duster?
He was not wearing a duster, but I do appreciate that long jacket. That he wore
Oh,
there for a long time. I think that's just whenever he's prowling.
Okay.
Last night was about that action, boss.
Oh, okay.
Came out T-shirt. Hey, I'm about to kick some ass.
Ready to go.
And to be honest, anytime somebody that I'm a massive fan of decides to get back in there at an older age, I get very nervous. I'm like, please, come on.
Yeah, be careful.
What are we doing?
Don't do it.
Please, just because there's some that have been great, obviously, but there has been some that have been very, very terrible. And it's like, okay. Still love you. We'll always appreciate you. But let's stop doing this.
Yeah, don't need to be tarnishing your legacy.
Let's stop doing this. Like, there has to be something else you can do. I was thinking, I was like, what is Sting going to do? And he went bananas in there. Good for him.
Good for Sting.
How's he feel today? Probably terrible.
Probably a little sore.
Couch all day.
Probably terrible, yeah.
It's a good hurt, though.
Did Adam Cole do anything last night? No, I kept him off TV.
Doubt it. Yeah.
Is he still a wrestler?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing his thing. And he does this thing, he puts his hands up, and like normally places get real loud.
Yeah.
And then immediately after, they're like, boo, because they're like, that guy, sack of shit.
Right. This guy sucks.
Yeah. Which he does.
He does.
He does.
But it seems like very loud for him.
Does, yeah. Pretty good pop.
How sore do you think the other Stinger gets after like those 10-hour sex sessions?
Oh, come on.
I heard you try to get that one in there earlier, and we kind of blew right by it. Even after that it was said that he was 69 years old, and you tried once and then, and we powered through it. But I don't know how you have sex for 10 hours. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, his penis is just a raw piece of meat.
Yeah, he doesn't feel anything, right?
No.
He's just throwing around somebody else's dick.
Yeah, exactly. Icing his balls for a couple hours after every time.
Let's get to a break.
Like a reliever pitcher.
What's that, Gump? What's that?
What NWO is Sting on now? He joined Black and White or Black and Red Wolfpack?
Nah, there's no Wolfpack over there. The team they wrestled against, so FTR had the NWO FTR, which looked very similar to the For the Brand thing, actually. The FTB For the Brand thing. And I'm a big fan of those guys as humans, but literally as they walked out, I'm like, is that?
Wait a minute.
Holy now, we all stole it, I guess, but is that? That looks a lot like, and it's all FTR. Okay. All right. Respect. Stinger, massive respect. We're back in 4 minutes. We'll answer some phone calls and, clean up this beautiful Thursday Night Football Thursday. Yeah. I'm so pumped for this risk-free parlay we got at the top of FanDuel Sportsbook right now.
Oh, yeah.
Feels like it's going to hit. I'm hot right now gambling. Don't you ever forget it. When you're on a heater, everybody needs to recognize it and hop on it with you. When I get cold again, I will tell you, I'm very honest. I'm very open. We're back in 4 minutes with some phone calls. This is the Pat McAfee Show. You have got to experience so many things, both as a businessman off the field and on the field. Is there a moment when I ask this question that pops your mind, like, what's the craziest shit you've ever seen in your entire life? Because there was a time there where it felt like you were just getting dropped into insane situations and the world was like watching you do things. Man vs. Wild, you and that Bear Grylls guy, fucking electric. That was maybe the most electric shit I've ever seen. Is there anything that you think of whenever you think, like, what's the most ridiculous thing you've been a part of?
Probably some of the most ridiculous shit I ever been a part of was, I had got the restaurant which I'm in right now, and when we first got it, I would come in here and I would clean up and go outside in the front, sweep up, make sure everything looked nice and shit. And one morning I got up here and I noticed, damn, this is a funky ass smell. And I looked, to the side of my front door, and it's a big ass pile of shit. And I'm talking about human shit. Yeah, and it's right on the side of the door. So I was like, somebody done came and popped the shit right in front of the door. Like, oh, this shit is crazy. Like, I can't be in here serving food. Motherfucker come walk in and they smell straight ass cheeks when they come in there. Like, I don't think that's the restaurant I need to eat in. So, man, I get the water hose and I'm hosing it down. And, I see, we got a couple, dolphins that usually walk back up in front. Hey, man, did you do this? Like, oh, no. So, one of them owned up to it. I said, man, check it out. So you don't do this no more. Look, you come by here, we get you we get you a broom and, you help us, we help you. You feel me? And, we put together a little, I put a proposition together for him and I ain't cleaning up shit no more.
It's a win-win. It's a win for everybody on that one. Hey, one of your former teammates. Yeah, hey, everybody wins. You're helping the people, man. That's awesome. That's why people love you. But hey,
one of them owned up to it. Just a line of questioning. The line of questioning.
His name was Willie. Willie owned up to. Matter of fact, he just left out. He's saying, sweeping up. He's like, hey, what's up? Oh boy, I've been looking for you. You feel me? Okay. Yeah, we bust down together up in the front of the restaurant to get it all cleaned up and everything.
Hey, you're helping people. Hey, Willie went from shitting outside to working inside. Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go, Willie. Let's go.
Give it up for my boy Willie, man.
How are ya? I'm Roman, a men's health brand that can dance very well and make you the best you possible. Are you suffering from male pattern baldness? Dahn, we got something for that. Herpes. See ya. Premature ejaculation, gone. No more coming too quick. Allergies as well. And that's not all. We have clinically tested supplements for everything, including erectile dysfunction. Come on! Bye-bye! GetRoman.com/Pat. Be the best you possible.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
There is no better feeling than breaking free and going untouched into the end zone. Ain't that right, boys?
Oh, yeah.
That's why Fluidmaster, the world's #1 toilet repair brand, is awarding the NFL player who has the best untouched touchdown each week with a Soft Spa 9500 bidet.
Wow.
And also giving one out to somebody that accurately predicts who will have the best untouched touchdown of the week whenever they tweet hashtag PMS Untouched. Go ahead and say a player's name, and if you predict who has the best untouched touchdown of the weekend, you too could also win a 9,500 soft ball bidet.
Wow. Hell yeah.
Last week's winning untouched touchdown went to Aaron Jones. So Aaron Jones, congratulations on your new bidet butt lifestyle, my friend. You might get 5 touchdowns the next time, and the winner that predicted that Aaron Jones would have the best untouched touchdown, a man who would now win a soft ball 9,500 bidet and $200 alongside of it as a gift card so you can get that thing installed for completely free. The man who's going to be living a much higher society lifestyle. A man who, after he grumpies, is going to get a full butt massage and then that thing aired off. A man who's going to sit on a toilet that's already warmed and primed. Ooh. A man who's going to get a taste of high society with his ass and his butthole. Who accurately predicted Aaron Jones would be the hashtag PMS untouched touchdown of the week. Mm-hmm. Congrats to Adam McMunn. Ooh. At McMunn Adam, you'll be winning that bidet, that lifestyle, and $200 gift card. You can get in on the action by predicting who will have the best untouched touchdown this week for your chance to win your own Fluidmaster Soft Spot Bidet, $9,500 and $200. Just tweet hashtag PMS Untouched with your answer for week 3 today. Games start tonight. Tonight might have one. Get on the action. That's hashtag PMS Untouched. And if you didn't win this past weekend and are just looking to up your bidet butt lifestyle, go to in honor of my Pro Bowl average, my last year, use PAT4930. That's PAT 4930 4930 at checkout at shop.fluidmaster.com.
Let's go.
That's
Awesome.
nice. No more McMudbutt for Adam.
Yeah, Adam McMudbutt is what they called Adam McMunn for a long time.
Yeah. True.
Adam McMunn actually went into high school one time with white pants on, and everything had to change.
Couldn't do it.
Because he used to just slaughter toilets.
Oh, yeah.
Now Adam McMunn, the winner of the 9,500 Fluidmaster Soft Spa Bidet, is going to have a completely different world. Welcome to high society, friend.
Enjoy it, Adam.
Good for him.
Attaboy, poopy butt.
Adam McMudbutt, never would have wondered.
Nope.
What a guy, though. Whenever you go to Vegas and you sit in one of them suites and you get to experience it for the first time, it is a life changer. People like me aren't supposed to have bidets.
No.
Because I'll go in there when I don't have to poop.
That's right.
Clean my butt.
Feeling a little frisky.
Yeah. People make fun of it, I think. And that's only because it is expensive. I mean, this thing is pricey.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to get it in. It's not it's only $400 actually.
400.
Jesus.
Well, that's with Fluidmaster.
Yeah,
I used to
that's because they're the
Plus
best.
an additional about 200
bucks, which is what they're giving you to get it in, because you got to get a plumber in there to actually plug it in, because if they don't get a plumber, then the water's not going to get plugged in accurately, and then you're not going to get enough.
Yeah, you will flood your house.
Yeah. And even if you need a drink,
Seriously.
let's go to the phones. Let's go to the 5-Hour Energy phone line. Go to 5hourenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee to receive 10% off your order. They have 15 original, beautiful flavors to choose from. Much better than the original 5-Hour Energy, which was years and years ago. They made it much better. Let's go to Victor in Illinois. What's going on, Victor?
Hey, Pat. What's up? Thanks for taking the call. Lifetime Colts fan and collector here. I got 2 things. Funny story and a question/statement. First thing, 2012 A training camp. It was my first time meeting you. I was obviously trying to get Andrew Luck's autograph, meet Andrew Luck. That was a very big year for the Colts. Drafted Andrew Luck and T.Y. I was standing in a crowd trying to get his autograph when this blonde, long-haired, short motherfucker who I had no idea who he was would not shut up about why does no one want a kicker or punter's autograph. From that moment there, I knew who you were and have been following you ever since.
Not true. That's just not true.
Gotcha.
It's not a true story.
Why,
I would never say, why does nobody want my autograph?
I was going to say, it doesn't seem like something you would do.
Yeah, that is actually not anything that happened. But every training camp, I didn't leave the field until we signed for everybody, because I had nothing to do afterwards. Everybody else had a bunch of meetings to go to. But I appreciate that entire thing.
It's in his blood as a autographed collector to just lie all the time.
Well, autograph collectors are interesting. Okay, Victor, probably a really good guy. Thanks for coming out to training camp. It is a
autograph
blast.
collectors are good guys.
No, I don't know if some people actually do just collect these things, and Victor is those people, but The assholes that show up at these airports that I land at and act like I'm a terrible person because I won't just feed whatever habit they are trying to pay for by selling pylons with my name on it. Like those people, I mean, they're assholes.
They're not people. They're subhuman creatures.
They really are.
They crawl out of the
They
gutter.
prey on like your kindness, and then they try to make you feel bad about it. It's like,
I have 22 other mini helmets actually.
Yeah. I'll sign 2 for you guys or whatever, you know. I mean, I sleep like 3 hours a week, so hopefully these are worth money for you guys, you know. And I understand you just parked out here and are preying on me basically, and you watched my plane land and everything like that. Very nice of you, hardworking people, to sit here and do this. But I'll sign 2 for each of you guys or whatever, and it's not going to be worth a lot. I got like 50 more too. Is there any way you can? Hey, fuck off. How about that? How about you fuck off? I don't know how people that are much more, clout heavy than I am, and their autographs actually mean things than me, how they deal with them. Because literally you see these people and they're catching you at times where you're literally all by yourself. They're showing up at places where you're all by yourself, and then they act as if you're a bad person. And sometimes they have kids with them. And every time I try to tell the kids, like, hey, this is not how life works. Okay, this is not what you should be trying to do. They use the kids actually to make you feel even worse.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, hey, I appreciate your effort here. You're doing what you're told, but the person that's telling you to do that is probably a fucking massive scumbag.
Pat, will you sign my kid? Come on. Just
I will.
one kid.
By the way, I'll sign a kid because I know they can't sell the kid, but it's the people that are literally.
Depends on what market.
I got a garbage bag full of kids over here. Will you
Yeah,
sign?
some of these people, it looks like there potentially is a bunch of kids in their house. I mean, we need to check some people out. You just go right to the airports I'm landing at, and I'll be that guy. We should probably check out for kids.
Yeah, now.
And also, there's no background checks on any of those people. I assume those people are potential
wackos.
Oh yeah, scumbag.
And I try to sign. I literally, because I understand what. Hey, you're doing your thing here. I understand that. Okay, and I assume other people say some terrible things to these people, and I try not to, but some people get like a little nudgy, and then they get like, oh, really? That's how you're going to do me? I thought you liked your fans or whatever. It's like, you're not a fan, okay? You're trying to profit off of my work, and I appreciate you, okay? I understand this is your hustle, but also fuck off, dude, all right?
Yeah.
I'm already late, okay? I'm already late to where I'm headed. If you see me in public, no, I am already late to wherever I'm supposed to be. That is a very good bet.
A couple of those times, too. We get home at 3:30, 4 a.m. You got people there. It's like, Jesus Christ, don't you ever sleep?
5 people sitting there. Yeah. And it's like, and then they got the kids with them at 3 a.m. I'm like, don't you have school?
This kid's got school
What
tomorrow.
are you even doing, dude? Chris Mad Dog Rooster has a much better answer than I do for everything. He'll be on the other side of this 6-minute break. We'll be back, manana. Cheers. I hate those people.
Scum of the earth.
There's some of them that are nice. Like there's some of them that.
Yeah, the guy gave you and Foxy.
Yeah, like hey, this is a good thing. They gave me an autographed Sidney Crosby thing. Very nice. It gave you a Michigan State something, right?
Barry Sanders.
Oh, Barry Sanders is like, yeah, this is very nice of you. This is cool. Like
They were playing the game and we respected it.
Yeah, we understood and appreciated it.
The guy's a fan of the show, too.
Yeah, he had a For the Brand shirt on. He knew who we were. It's like, okay, you at least. But then there'll be people right behind that person.
Yeah.
Who just will push that person out of the way. McAfee, will you sign this for me?
Yeah.
And I'm the bad guy. You know, come on, you're a nice guy.
When we're in that one
It's like
hotel.
I'm not a nice guy, actually. How about this? Fuck you. That is, I'm not a nice guy, especially to people like you. And I think I've actually made a pretty good reputation of being an asshole to people like you who are scum of the earth. That's probably what people would actually say to me. Oh, you're a fucking mean guy, huh? All right. Window up.
Yeah.
See, I never say that.
How about the lifeless guys that just stare at you and just put it up your face?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. And then the thing that was said to me in the,
Oh my God! Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there is.
You never know if these people are just making shit up. Too.
Well, that guy definitely.
That one, I'm guessing, was fictitious.
Hey, man.
Oh, you never know.
This is my daughter. And then he told me a story of something that happened to her like a couple weeks ago. And then said, can you sign this and give me a 20? And I was like, whoa, Jesus. And it was terrible what had happened.
Yeah.
So I immediately go, I am so sorry. Okay, I am so sorry. I do not have any cash on me. I will sign this one thing for you. But once again, this is not how life works. And then that's kind of my mission statement to everybody. Like, this is not how it's supposed to go. I mean, I respect it, and I'm sorry for you if that story is accurate, but God damn, they just try to get as deep as possible.
Oh, yeah.
That was the deepest you could probably go.
That was wild, yeah.
I'm surprised he was only asking for $20.
Yeah, I didn't have any cash on me at that time. I don't carry cash that much. It becomes a problem because when we travel, we
Nobody
get to
does.
tip everybody. Right, and because you want to tip everybody, because I'm very thankful for everybody and everything they do, but nobody has cash anymore, and I don't have the Venmo. Like, I don't do that. I don't do any of this stuff. So that has become a problem. It's like a real job for Foxy. Like, Foxy, you have to go get cash. Like, we have to go get cash for this thing. Because anytime you go somewhere and somebody's helping you, you don't tip them, you are the biggest scumbag on earth.
Well, and then you got the no tip and Pippin and stuff like that. Like, that stuff will
Forever.
always find the light of day.
Yeah, but also I think I agreed that definitely will come on the other side if you don't. But also I feel like, like I'm in a position. So if you were working, like I feel like I am very much hey, I appreciate what you just did there. Did I give you too much money for the job that you did? You literally just stood there. But I appreciate that you are working. A lot of that. I do a lot of that.
Well, those guys never forget that kind of stuff either. You know what I mean?
You would hope. But you forget one time,
yeah,
it's probably...
I guess some of them do get a little comfortable probably. But, most people, like if that's... if that happens, that's something they will never forget.
What was that dude's name that came with all? Let's not say it, but you would think people would be okay with that or whatever. But back to the autograph people, there was this one guy that was literally loitering, stalking almost outside of here, and he had an entire bag of things. He's, I'll just wait till later or whatever. And then yes, that was him. And then I would sign things for him. I'm like, all right, man, that's what he was like. I'll see you next month or whatever. I'm like, no. You won't. Like, this is not how it's going to go. And then, like, 2 weeks later, he was the one that was potentially there with a bunch of people at, like, 3 a.m. in the morning. It was like, hey, man, like, I'm legitimately starting to not like you as a human. Like, I don't know how to tell you that or if you care at all, but, like, I don't know if I'm the right person that you're supposed... Like, I don't know if I can cover it enough to not tell you, like, hey, you're a fucking piece of shit in front of your kids that you're trying to make me feel bad about, And that person hasn't been around in some time.
Not at all. I think you got the hint.
Hopefully.
I hope.
Eventually.
I'm worried about the kids that they have with them. Like the kids, like that becomes generational then. Like, hey, this is how this is supposed to go. This is how you play on people's emotions. This is how you make them feel terrible about it. This is how you threaten to say stuff. Like that's like their
MO.
Yeah, that's their playbook. Like, hey, this is how you do this. This is, you send a kid in there. If you can't get it, you do this whole thing. It's like, you guys are fucking scumbags, dude. All of you. Just do something. I'll probably give you a bunch of money. I'm happy we talked about that. 20 minutes. This show stinks, dude. But Victor, that did not happen. Honestly. Legit. I don't think it would have. 2012, that's shortly after the, I had a pretty good following then. I don't think I was begging for anybody then. That's literally not something I would do, mostly because I'd be very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I do get uncomfortable in those situations. But if the crowd's going to come, I'll sign.
Sure.
There's that picture I have from training camp with all those people surrounding me or whatever. Yeah. It was so cool every single year. Just getting a chance to see everybody and thank everybody, because a lot of people that followed me on Twitter, I never really got to meet, so they'd come up there. And I don't do autograph signings with, like, places. I don't like it. I don't like people having to pay for my fucking autograph. I don't like that at all. Like, I don't think it is, like, hey, just come see me. I'll fucking sign something for you. I think a picture is much better. But you tell me.
For sure.
What, are you going to become an autograph signer? Is that what you were chuckling about over there?
No. The last time they sent you fucking 500 things to sign, and you're like, I ain't doing that.
I ain't doing it.
Well.
Oh, yeah, who was it? Tops?
In your defense, I believe it was Panini, and they sent you like 8,000 football cards.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
So I had like one sleeve. Yeah, okay. That's enough. That's enough.
And what are they going to do? They're going to charge an assload of money for this.
Oh, yeah. They did give us 40 really nice pens, though.
Yeah, we did got it. Because they told me, like, hey, if you're going to sign, make sure this thing is crystal clear. I've had a couple different, like, collections places. Like, hey, come do a signing or whatever. Come do a signing. I'm like, maybe I'll get to the point in life where that is something I'll do, like, but I don't really... I don't like the thought of somebody feeling like they have to pay for something that I signed.
Well, and that also goes back to what you said. Like, if you're paying for that, there's almost a lot of people there. Then there's like an added expectation. It's like, okay, well, I paid to get this guy's autograph, so I can sit up here and talk his ear off, or do like people think. A lot of people think that, I'm sure.
No, but I appreciate I literally appreciate everybody, except for the people that are clearly doing it as a business and trying to make me feel like I'm the bad guy.
Right, you signed 2 last week in Knoxville, and they seemed like genuine fans. It was very quick. They were very thankful, and we were in and out.
Yep. A helmet and a jersey for each one.
Yep.
Here you go.
One thing each, and that's when you know it's like, oh, they had genuinely.
Oh, granted, it was 10:30.
It was
at an FBO that was back in the middle of nowhere. They came out of the darkness up to our car.
That was a little creepy.
It was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Hey, man. Welcome to Tennessee.
I'm leaving.
Did you ever sign a big old pair of voluptuous jugs?
All right.
Jesus.
Let's go to the phones.
Good question.
I signed a dude's tits. Yeah, there's this big guy. There was this like 400-pounder. He was electrifying. It was a training camp. He was electrifying a training camp. Obviously, all eyes were on that guy. And his endurance, his energy endurance was amazing. From the beginning of practice, electric, all the way through the end whenever I had to sign. I signed his right nipple, I believe.
Nice.
I put the second E right on that nipple of his.
It's very nice of you.
It was pretty good. I've signed somebody's arm or leg and they got it autographed, I think.
Oh.
Or got it tattooed.
Tattooed.
That guy had everybody on his body. Fascinating.
Yeah, that is.
I had a lot of questions. But I didn't want to get in the conversation at the time we were at.
Yeah.
Or talk to that guy.
But it also, like, what's that?
What?
Or what?
I said, or talk to that guy.
I mean, that guy has a story, though.
Sure.
You know, like, how do we get here? So I'd like to hear that. That's kind of my thing.
He's not going to lose either.
I didn't hear you.
So he's not going to lose.
He's not going to
either.
lose the signature.
Yeah. Ever. But also a lot of pressure. You know, like on my signature there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it has to be a good one. This one's going to be until this guy dies. And I was looking at him. I don't know how long it was going to be. He didn't seem to be the most healthy guy. I mean, people that are getting 100 different dudes' signatures tattooed on them, probably not the healthiest lifestyle, but might be able to survive through a lot of things. But
No, you'll always be with him.
Yep.
I think I'm on his shin.
Nice.
I actually asked, I think, like, if I fuck up this autograph, will we be able to, like, do another one or whatever? Because there wasn't a lot of spots.
Yeah. And?
I nailed it first time.
Nice.
There you go.
That's weird, like curvature, too.
Yeah, on the shin.
Yeah.
I've changed my autograph, though, and I often wonder, like, what are they going to do at pawn stores? What's Rick going to do? Because I've changed my signature completely, entirely, since playing days to now.
Well, they have those guys where, like, oh, in 2001, 2007, the signature was this. 2008, 2012 was this.
Now, obviously,
It's
the
crazy.
goal is for that to matter at some point in life, you know? And I appreciate the fact that it is. And I always said to those people that are, you know, get popular, that get mad about people coming up and saying hello to them, like, you can't have one without the other. You know, like, you literally can't. I love when people come say hello, love chatting with people, love learning about people. Those autograph people, though, I just can't fucking take them.
It's not the heathens.
Sacks of shit, most of them.
I mean, maybe there's a couple good people in there. I think we've met a couple good people in there, obviously, but they're just trying to do what they got to do. But most of them are just, we know exactly where that money's going to as soon as you look at them. I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but if your actions are the exact way as as the outside of the book, I'm going to assume the content's inside. Spade's a spade. I think.
Pretty
Spade.
Bingo.
There was this one methed out guy that came up to me with no teeth and asked me to sign like 10 things for him.
Can't do it.
I was like, hey, instead of getting my signature, like, go to a dentist. I'll pay for you to go to a dentist.
Go get some veneers.
I'll go to a dentist, dude. Because we used to have training camp up in Anderson, Indiana, and Anderson is a town that has fallen on some hard times. A couple factories got moved out of there.
Yeah,
There's a lot of documentaries about it. So there are some people potentially falling into habits that aren't necessarily fantastic for them, and they all seem to just come over to training camp every single day. It was very nice of them.
Yeah. Go Coach.
Go Coach. Hey, you sign this thing. Hey, you sign this thing for me? Pat? Mr. McCaffrey. Why is the pylon something that they all do now? Why is the
I
pylon?
didn't know people did that. I didn't know you could eat.
That is like,
They just go to Dick's and buy pylons?
yeah, they seem like legit pylons. Very easy to sign too, but those are like something that the autograph hounds,
Easier to carry, maybe. Easier to carry 5,000 of for you to sign.
because you can just pinch them.
Yeah.
It's weird because not a lot of end zones in people's houses to put the pylons at.
Something to think about. They do have the pylon cam at every first down marker now, though. Too.
True. And that's what they could say.
Oh, 4-pack's like $15.
There you
A
have
lot
it.
cheaper than
cheaper
the
than
Duke.
football. Yeah, cheaper than a Duke.
I love it when.
Dukes are so expensive.
What's that?
Dukes are very expensive.
Incredibly expensive.
Like
Let alone the ones.
$110, I think.
How much?
I think it was like over $100 last time.
Yeah, I think it is.
Those are good margins.
Very good margins.
Was it 8 cows or something? I forget how many.
Is that real?
Couple.
I forget, maybe 8 balls per cow.
That makes more sense.
Also
Some
good
special
margins.
came out, and I remember Griff Whalen. You know, Griff Whalen was one of my favorite humans of all time. And Saturday walkthrough, that became the conversation. he had like a trivia he would go around and ask people. And the question of the one walkthrough was, how many footballs are created from one cow? 20? What are you seeing, Dave?
Oh, sorry. They estimate that one cowhide can produce approximately 20 footballs.
All right.
Oh,
there we go.
It's a little better.
That is a lot better.
Wilson manufactures 700,000 footballs a year.
Don't do the math. We don't. even know.
35,000 cows.
Good run.
These are older cows, right? That are at the
They've
end of
lived
the
their
rainbow.
full lives.
They're
yeah.
milkless ones.
Because the leather has to be weathered.
That's right.
Very true.
Dust comes out of them.
Can we have a moment of silence for those cows? Thank you for the game, dude. Why is it called pigskin?
Thank you, Moo.
Thank you.
Thank you,
cows.
Do you think they've ever had Goodell go out there with the cattle prodder and just shooting the little bullets in their heads when they put the cows down and make the footballs, just so he can know what goes into it?
No, because High Commissioner Roger Goodell lets the cow live its life to its fullest, and then it passes away of natural
causes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Original footballs were made using a pig's bladder.
So it's not skin, though.
What's that?
So it's not pig skin.
It's an organ. Skin's an organ,
Yeah,
too.
skin, yeah.
Different organ.
Ipso facto.
Whatever the case, rest in peace, those cows. Thank you for your service.
R.I.P.
Thank you.
They're free-range cows.
Yeah.
That's right.
They live their full lives.
Those dukes
Uncaged.
are nice.
Those dukes are
Oh,
very
my
good.
God.
Tossing the duke.
Yeah, great football.
Yeah, we got a game ball in here that I probably did something with in the actual game, and now we're just throwing it off the cement in this house.
Yeah, it is a real treat being able to spin one of those game balls, though. It really is.
Yeah, they are.
It's a real
Top
treat.
notch.
They are good balls.
Yeah.
It's hard actually once you throw an NFL ball to throw other sized balls because the NFL is that ball is so fat and
Yeah.
heavy. It's beautiful. It's perfect.
It really is.
This rubber ass ball. We bought a bunch of these because I think
That's Mickey. That's
I got it wrong. We're sending a bunch of balls to a high school kicker back in my high school.
Nice.
Because he was experiencing the same problems as me whenever I saw him kick. He had like 2 balls, 3 balls. It's not as efficient,
Sure.
you know, when you only have 2 balls. Old Tim McAfee actually threw his shoulder out trying to throw balls back. So you have to kick a ball, and I was kicking them very far, and then you got to go run and get them, and then you come back. And if you miss one of those, like you can't really get to work, you know. So I think that's a big problem. Got a chance to watch this Plum kid who's very young, got a big leg. He'd kick a couple balls good, and then he would go run for 7 to 8 minutes to get the ball back. And by the time he's back, he completely forgets what he had just done before.
Yeah.
Builds grit, though, going to get those balls.
It does.
Good workout.
And also helps you throw a little bit too because you're throwing the ball back.
Yep.
And then, you know, there's a lot more athleticism involved. But wrangling up 10 balls is tough too. I mean, that is not an easy task
Yeah.
either. But at least you get to kick a little bit more. Rest in peace to Tim's shoulder, by the way. That thing was dead.
Thank you, Tim.
R.I.P. Tim.
Thank you,
Shoulder.
Tim.
Let's go to Bobby in Jersey. Bobby, what's going on, pal?
Another week, another football season where my New York Jets fucking stink.
Yep.
Hey, so I know we got to trust the process. Not got to get comfortable and just trust Pops a lot. But my question is about old buddy Sam Darnold and Robbie Anderson. I'm so torn whether or not to root against these guys. And if they start off 3-0 and McCaffrey stays healthy and this defense stays lightning fast and looking good, Sam Darnold, is this motherfucker about to make playoffs his first year out of New York?
Bobby, did you not see what happened with Tannehill when he got out from underneath that Gase umbrella?
Hey, I understand, but it's rough to watch the Jets right now.
Yeah, I could imagine the Jets fans not being exactly thrilled for the last, 20, 30 years, except for when Sanchez and Rex Ryan was out there. But Robbie Anderson was a player, and he did well with Teddy Bridgewater. I think actually Robbie Anderson liked Teddy Bridgewater a lot when they brought Sam Darnold in. Robbie was trying not to bury Sam while also compliment Teddy. Then he obviously traded him out there, the whole thing. But yeah, Sam Darnold seems to be having a rebirth.
Yep.
A reinvigoration, which is what all these quarterback gurus, from the Jordan Palmers to everybody else that's kind of an older vet quarterback that talks about quarterback situations on the internet, they were like, when this guy gets into a place that maybe is, pretty good with weapons and the way they operate, and especially with Christian McCaffrey next to him, hey, this guy's going to be a guy, a lot of people say. And it makes you wonder, because how bad Sam Darnold looked in New York, How many quarterbacks do you think fall into this potential situation? Is it just Adam Gase quarterbacks, or has there been a bunch throughout the years you think that it potentially just got wasted in a wasteland of a team that never really took advantage of their abilities and people around them?
Yeah, it's definitely just recency bias at its Gase, but it definitely can happen. Like any rookie who goes to a place that isn't ready, that they're fucked. I feel like the most important thing when you do get drafted as a rookie is that you go to a perfect situation.
Who told us that they just have to buy their time, basically, the first couple years? You got to survive. Clyde Christensen, maybe? Clyde Christensen, quarterback coach in the NFL for a long time now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he said that there's no growth, right? Like, these guys just come in, they get ruined, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
He talked about Trask, I think, getting a chance to just sit behind Tom here for probably 3-4 years, 2-3 years, for maybe 6 years, depending upon how long Tom Brady is, the growth he'll be able to see, because some guys get thrown out there and they get buried. And I think that was the big thing about Justin Fields potentially. Didn't want him to go out and just get buried, lose confidence. Now he's starting this weekend because Andy Dalton's injured. But I wonder how many of these young quarterbacks, if you put them in a Ferrari, are going to be able to drive better than whenever you put them in a dump Geo Focus.
Sure.
Whatever the fuck it is.
Well, and don't you think part of it, too, is like Jets fans, for whatever reason, like set expectations kind of high. Like, I mean, it's one thing to be excited once you get a guy like Zach Wilson, but I think they saw like stuff in camp, and it's like they maybe raised their expectations of like, hey, this team could, actually be pretty decent this year, when in reality it's like, no, they're still quite a ways away. Like, they stink still.
We might have actually, too. Remember, we didn't talk about Zach Wilson for like the first preseason game, really. Then it was after the second one, and some more video clips started coming out. Yeah, against the Packers.
The Packers, yeah.
And he was making throws and plays. It was like, God damn. Hey, Zach Wilson might be a player. But then whenever we heard Aaron say, like, guys like Zach Wilson, got a chance to chat with him, it's good. He's going to have to survive. I think the first couple of years, it was like, oh, Aaron just practiced with this team.
Yeah.
And he said, this team is nowhere near it is. And they had the second overall pick for a reason, just like Trevor Lawrence down there. Will Urban Meyer be able to survive long enough for that team to get good? Will Trevor Lawrence be able to survive? Will Zach Wilson be able to survive long enough? And what if they're not worth a fuck?
Yeah.
There's so many question marks around the NFL and what makes somebody successful and what doesn't. The atmosphere, the culture is a big part of that, especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah, expectations too. Like when Dak Prescott, he was like, a third-round pick, and then he came in, he wasn't the starter, and then when he got his chance, he could go, and then you can even look at Jimmy G. Like Jimmy G got to learn behind Brady, got to start a few games when Tom couldn't play, and then he gets a massive contract from the Niners after he gets traded.
Now Lance maybe doing the same thing with Jimmy G here. They're kind of buying their time. They got some packages in for him.
Mm-hmm.
He scored a tud, right? Yeah.
Yeah, first week. Through one.
I don't think he played it all week 2.
He didn't. No. I would guess he's going to get some burn this week.
Against the Green Bay Packers.
Yikes. Sunday night.
Sunday night football.
Can't wait.
Been waiting all day for Sunday night. NFC Titans and Head fight. Aaron Rodgers and then Jimmy G on the ground. Waiting all day for Sunday night. Al Michael is then immediately afterwards. Oh, he's so good.
Hell, it's the best.
You're worried about this weekend, huh?
A little bit.
How? Why?
Shanahan seems in terms of X's and O's and whatnot, and you talked about it earlier this week, LaFleur's offense is Shanahan's offense. It just seems like, he kind of knows how to stop it. Once again, we'll see. Joe Barry, we'll see. But I think a lot of people are thinking, this guy fucking sucks at his job. And he has sucked at his job when he's had this job in the past. It just, I don't know. I think the offense is going to be just fine. This is how it's been the last couple of years. They might have to score 75, 100 points to win on Sunday night. I hope that's not the case, but
that's primetime game, so that means that is prime time for people to judge Aaron Rodgers.
Bingo.
Oh, man, and all the people that were like, he was talking about me. Why is he talking about me? Tom Brady wouldn't have to do all these things. The chances Aaron Rodgers has had to beat a 49ers team with a winning record, 2012 opener, L, 2012 playoffs, L, 2013 opener, L, 2013 playoffs, L, 2019 week 12, L, 2019 playoffs, L, so 0-6, says David Lombardi at Lombardi himself.
They beat him last year, though.
Hey.
They didn't have a winning record, and they had a lot of guys out due to COVID, but they did beat him last year.
That's pretty interesting narrative that just got painted there, huh?
Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, Rodgers can't beat him. It's like, well, the defense is giving up 50 points a game. It's
Well, that's like Rodgers in the
playoffs
against the Buccaneers. Guy can't win in big games or whatever. Go look at the game he
He
had.
threw 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. He played pretty good. Can't get off the goddamn field on third down, and then
The first half, I think they were successful. They were dominant on offense against the Lions. First half Monday night, everybody's like, "Oh, here we go. Aaron Rodgers going to be whining again." It's like I don't think he is fucked up at all here, but we're just ball washing.
Well, and that's you hate to get into that point, but it's almost like if they get beat on Sunday night, that's all it's going to be next week. Is the fucking guy you're defending? You're not a Packers fan.
Whining,
Fuck you.
bitching, prima donna.
So, and again, he could throw 500 yards and have 4 touchdowns, and that'll still be said. So, we'll see. Hopefully they win. I hope they come out and look good. San Francisco is banged up, but it seems like Shanahan just kind of always finds a way against them.
5 points of pressure, Ty. Don't fumble the ball. The ball is the program.
Boom.
That's right.
Let's get out of here. Hammer Don's 15 minutes.
15.
What do you guys got today, Gump? Is there any soccer bets? Is it just all football and baseball talk still?
Hey, we're sitting on a 3-0 footy day right now, my friend.
Fucking guy is unbelievable, dude.
He went 4-0 last night in baseball.
He's fucking unbelievable, dude. Gumpy's a sharp dude. He's a sharp dude. An actual sharp dude. The Canadian Shark.
Sharks in Canada?
Yesterday I watched the This Game Stinks. This Sport Stinks. That was incredible syncrasy by us.
Oh, yeah.
That was incredible.
That was good.
We're all trying to get to that last sentence.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, just fill these until we can get to this Sport Stinks. Soccer doesn't deserve that. I watched that game last night. Good 15, 20 minutes of that thing. I didn't even know what it was. We were winning, though.
Liga MX and MLS hate each other. You could see it in the All-Star game when MLS was very happy to win. Those games are fucking intense.
Yeah, well, they got the League's Cup final with old fucking Lyon, dude. I thought we were playing a French team.
I thought you were playing the fucking... I thought it was the Timbers.
Yeah, you told me. Gumpy. I mean, I get it. He's 3-0 today in soccer, and then he's 4-0 last night and everything like that, and he is the soccer sharp. I texted him about the game being on, and he started watching it, and then he texted me back. He was like, Seattle Portland got a good one here almost. I'm like, what? Who are you even fucking watching the same game? This is a foreign team that we're playing. This is a final, Gumpy. How did you not know about? Why did you not know about this? Is this tournament not big enough for the Gumpy?
I've never heard of it before, to be honest.
Well, that's
the game was on the small TV. In my defense, I couldn't really see the name.
See, Gumpy's a soccer sharp dude, and he's still putting it on a tiny little TV.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
He's got baseball, the worst sport of all time, on the main TVs.
No, we're heading to the playoffs, baby. We need that baseball. The 2 TV setup, full time in the living room, undefeated.
Did
you learn that from Warren
Put
Sharp?
a couple more in there. What's that?
He learned that from Warren Sharp.
Yep.
15 seconds behind each other, you got an immediate replay when you don't even need to do anything about it.
Then I can record whatever I need with a 80s camcorder like it's old school porno.
All right.
Bomb chicken.
Well said.
That's not well said. That's not well said. That was absurd.
Well said.
That was absurd. Gump,
Yes, sir.
how do you feel about my parlay I put together now that I know that you're 7-0 in your last 7 bets?
It's got to be. It's got to be.
There it is.
It's got to be.
All right, Hammer Don's in 15 minutes at youtube.com/Hammer Don. Make sure you cash in on this $10 risk-free same game parlay from FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a state that can't do it. Last week, the amount of people that did the same game parlay, if FanDuel would have lost, it would have been devastating to FanDuel.
Incredible.
I got sent some stats. I don't know if I was supposed to see them or not. Probably not good for the leverage this whole negotiation thing, but it was huge. Let's go ahead and continue to make this thing big, and let's get one here where we all make cash.
Here we go.
Yes. A same game parlay that is not allowed to be below plus 400, okay, is going to be a tough thing to hit.
Yes.
This one feels really good, and if we lose, we get our money back, and if we hit, we really put a dent into these motherfuckers.
Boom.
Here we go.
And that's what we're here to do.
Hell yeah.
Time.
Show's over. See you tomorrow. Feel good Friday. We're starting at 11 tomorrow. Hey, starting at 11 tomorrow.
Here we go.
And if you do the same game parlay with us, tweet hashtag same game parlay at us. And you automatically be entered in to win some merch if the bet hits, though.
Okay.
Yes.
Boom.
And if it doesn't hit, probably merch, but just less merch.
Less
Sure.
merch.
There you
So
go.
come join us. Let's take money from these people. Somebody's got to win this money. Somebody's got to have this money. It should be us. It's kind of been my mindset in this entire negotiation.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's going to be getting this money. Why not us? That's what I think whenever I walk into any casino. Hey, somebody's going to have these chips at the end of the night. Why not us?
Boom.
Tonight with this same game parlay plus 700 and something, $10 turns into $78. Why not us?
And the roosters are crowing and the ducks are flying together.
Why not us? You're done?
Why?
All right. We'll hear more from that brilliant mind.
Yep.
15 minutes, youtube.com/hammerdown. We'll see you tomorrow. Starting at 11 tomorrow, 11 to 2 live on YouTube. Cannot wait to see you. Big guest tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow should be pretty good. The booking, hey, we're
Picking
starting to
up.
hit a little bit of a groove here.
Uh-huh.
Starting to hit a little, isn't that right, Ty?
Well, we booked a couple of guys tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's still a tag team operation.
Yeah.
We're looking for that hot tag, though, at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
happening.
We're looking
It's coming.
for that hot tag at some point.
It's coming.
I think so, too. They're doing great. Starting to really catch a rhythm.
Yeah.
Now, we had to pay for a couple months worth of non-rhythm shooting, but that's why you bring in Ray Allen.
That's right. Sure.
That's why you bring in.
JJ Redick.
That's. Congrats on retirement.
Congrats,
Yeah.
JJ.
And I do love that JJ Redick actually sold an ad in his retirement.
Yes.
Fucking legendary move.
Smart.
Legendary. Shout out to you, dude. Congrats on a hell of a career. Maybe go back to the Pelicans so Zion doesn't want to leave. Allegedly. I'm a Pelicans fan. Everybody knows that. Let's get some guys around Zion so we can get him on TV and in the playoffs. They tried to expand the playoffs to get him into the playoffs. You guys couldn't even get there. We'd like to see Zion on TV.
Please.
Anyways, see you tomorrow.